Chapter 139. Carnate Peak. Ningyu's eyes narrowed and a look of shock appeared on his face when he sensed the fluctuation of yuan qi around the white-robed man. However, what shocked Ningyu the most was not the man's cultivation level, but the strength of his soul. Third-tier early-stage alchemist. A Tier 3 alchemist. Ningyu was slightly surprised as he glanced at the 3-star emblem on the white-robed man's shoulder. The man in white was about the same age as him. His cultivation level had reached the carnate peak and his alchemy level had reached the 3rd tier. Leader Zhu, is this the person representing Tianxian City's alchemy union? The white-clothed man sized up Ningyu, and then he said indifferently, "You have a good relationship with my master. Do you want me to talk to him and introduce my junior brother to you? My junior brother is a 2nd-tier intermediate stage alchemist. With him representing Tianxian City, I believe you won't be at the bottom. Let me introduce, this is Ning." Zhu Tong coughed. However, before Zhu Tong could finish his sentence, the man in white waved his hand and said impatiently, "Leader Zhu, let's hurry up. After all, we won't be traveling very fast." As he spoke, the man in white stomped on the ground and his body turned into a blur as he dashed into the distance. Seeing this, Ningyu did not make a move immediately. Instead, he asked, "Elder Zhu, who is this? Why is he so imposing?" "His name is Bai Fei. He is from Mingwang City's Alchemy Union. Bai Fei's master and I are friends. His master asked me to bring him to the capital." Smiling bitterly, Zhu Tong explained, Bai Fei used to be mediocre. His cultivation level was only at the early stage of the carnate stage and his alchemy level was only a 1st-tier alchemist. Who would have thought that a month ago, his cultivation level would skyrocket to the carnate peak and his alchemy level would pass the 3rd-tier alchemist test? Bai Fei's alchemy level, even in Danwu College, is comparable to the 2nd or 3rd-year students. "Ningyu, don't be discouraged." In the end, fearing that Ningyu would suffer a blow, Zhu Tong said, "Although your alchemy skills might be slightly lower than Bai Fei's, your martial arts skills are several streets ahead of him. Haha, old Zhu, don't worry. I am confident that I will obtain a good ranking for Tianxian City." Ningyu said with a smile. Nodding, Zhu Tong said, "It's good that you think this way. Let's set off quickly. Bai Fei isn't slow." Following that, the yuan qi in Zhu Tong's sea of consciousness surged, and he instantly fled far away. As he knew of Ningyu's martial prowess, Zhu Tong did not slow down during his journey. Instead, he constantly sped up in an attempt to catch up to Ningyu. This Bai Fei is a little strange. Although Bai Fei tried his best to conceal it, Ningyu still caught a hint of something unusual. However, now was not the time to think too much about it. Ningyu shot forward and caught up to Zhu Tong in no time. After catching up to Zhu Tong, Ningyu maintained his speed and ran side by side with Zhu Tong. That brat's speed is actually this fast. Not far away, Bai Fei slowed down a little and looked back. Seeing that Ningyu and Zhu Tong were getting closer and closer, his face turned cold as he said coldly, "Brat who still smells of his mother's milk, I don't believe that you can catch up to me today." After that cold shout, Bai Fei sped up once more, instantly doubling his speed. "Damn it. If not for the fact that I have some ties with his master, I definitely wouldn't be traveling with him." Zhu Tong cursed inwardly as the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged, doubling his speed as well. "Chase after him." Ningyu did not expect Zhu Tong to be so angry, so he immediately increased his speed and followed closely behind him. Although Zhu Tong was half a step into the true martial realm, he was no match for Bai Fei in terms of speed. No matter how much he increased his speed, he could not catch up. Knowing that his speed was no match for Bai Fei, Zhu Tong chose to give up. He slowed down and followed slowly. Looking back, he saw that Zhu Tong and the others had slowed down. Bai Fei also felt bored and slowed down. From Tianxian City to the capital, there was a path that one had to pass through, and that was Tiger Head Valley. Tiger Head Valley was located at the border between Tianxian City and Wise Ruler City. The terrain was like a giant tiger's head, hence the name Tiger Head Valley. The entrance of Tiger Head Valley was relatively wide, but the exit was extremely narrow, allowing only one person to pass through at a time. Sho. In the forest, 3 silhouettes quickly passed by. Not long later, they came to a stop. Tiger Head Valley is up ahead. Let's rest here for a while and enter after we've recovered to our peak, Ju Tong said after stopping. Chairman Ju, I think you're making a mountain out of a molehill. Curling his lips, Bai Fei said indifferently, although Tiger Head Valley's terrain is dangerous, it's only for those with low cultivation. If you want to rest, you guys can rest. I'll make a move first. With that, Bai Fei tapped the ground with his toes and leaped into Tiger Head Valley, quickly disappearing from sight. Looking at Bai Fei's disappearing figure, Ju Tong's face turned extremely gloomy. Gritting his teeth, he said, Ningyu, let's go in as well. Originally, Ju Tong wanted to rest here for a while, but since Bai Fei had rushed in, there was no need for him to stay and rest. If Bai Fei encountered any danger, it would be difficult for him to explain to Bai Fei's master when he reached the capital. Xiu. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu and Ju Tong entered Tiger Head Valley. Bai Fei. Not long after entering Tiger Head Valley, Ningyu saw a familiar figure not far away. Why is he standing there? Ju Tong, who was beside him, was a little puzzled. Wait. However, before Ju Tong could move, Ningyu grabbed his shoulder and said in a deep voice, Elder Ju, there are at least 10 Xiantian full-circle martial artists around Bai Fei. There are even 2 at the early stage of the true martial realm and 1 at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Hiss. Hearing Ningyu's warning, even though Ju Tong was half a step into the true martial realm, he could not help but gasp. With such a lineup, if they were to attack, they would not be able to fight back at all. Although Ningyu was strong and killed Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of true martial realm, Ju Tong was very clear that Lin Jingtian had just advanced to the middle stage of true martial realm. Compared to an expert in the middle stage of true martial realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. Don't tell me their target is us. Thinking of this, Ju Tong's face turned extremely ugly. Did they not check the almanac before coming out this time? Or was there someone who had a problem with the Alchemy Union? How dare they surround and attack people from the Alchemy Union? Compared to Ju Tong, Ningyu's face was much more solemn. Even his heart had sunk to the bottom. Chapter 140. 12 complete Xiantian realm, 2 early stage true martial realm, and 1 peak middle stage true martial realm martial artists. Inside Tiger Head Valley, Bai Fei's face was extremely gloomy as a cold light flashed in his eyes. What bad luck. I haven't even reached the capital yet and I've already encountered such big trouble. A ruthless look appeared on Bai Fei's face as he said in a deep voice, Everyone, come out and talk. Xiu. The next moment, several whooshing sounds rang out as a large number of martial artists appeared around Bai Fei. Old Ghost Xiu? Seeing the old man leading the group, Bai Fei was slightly startled and said, I have no enmity with you, why are you stopping me here? Hehe, so it's Genius Bai Fei of the Alchemy Union. Old Ghost Xiu stood in the air with his hands behind his back, his aura calm. At this moment, he smiled slightly, but his face suddenly changed as he said gloomily, Do I need to ask you for instructions when I do things? With that, Old Ghost Xiu's figure flashed and appeared in front of Ningyu. The corner of his mouth rose as he looked at Ningyu and said, Ningyu, I didn't expect that after 3 days, you've already cultivated to late-stage true martial realm. Old Ghost Xiu, you're not bad yourself. Peak middle-stage true martial realm, just 1 step away from late-stage true martial realm. Taking a step forward, Ningyu said, You really think highly of me, to send more than a dozen complete Xiantian realm martial artists at once. Hehe, even a lion uses its full strength to catch a rabbit, let alone a hungry wolf like you. The corner of Old Ghost Xiu's mouth rose as he shrugged and said, Last time, you were lucky enough to escape. Today, even if you grow wings, you won't escape. 3 days ago, he failed to catch Ningyu. After returning, Old Ghost Xiu used all his strength to investigate Ningyu. This investigation was not a big deal, but it really shocked him. When he was in the middle stage of the Xiantian realm, he could actually kill Lin Jingtian, who was in the middle stage of the true martial realm. Even if Lin Jingtian was just a dabbler in the middle stage of the true martial realm, it was enough to show that Ningyu was not a simple person. Moreover, the 5th grade alchemist Mu Tuor had doubled his offer. As long as they could capture Ningyu alive, he would refine 2 5th-grade elixirs for each of them. This kind of bargaining chip that moved the heart of old Xiao was something he could never refuse. Therefore, to be on the safe side, old Ghost Xiao used all his strength and brought 12 Xiantian peak martial artists. Last time? Could it be that Ningyu had already fought with old Ghost Xiao? Furthermore, I managed to escape from him. On the side, hearing the conversation between Ningyu and old Ghost Xiao, Bai Fei was somewhat moved and re-examined Ningyu. Old Ghost Xiao was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. To be able to escape from his hands, he could be considered to have some skill. I am the president of Tianxian City's Alchemist Union. Is there some kind of misunderstanding? Ju Tong took a step forward and said, "It is better to make enemies than to resolve them. In my opinion, we should all sit down and have a good talk. You two are also from the Alchemist Union?" Hearing this, old Ghost Xiao was slightly surprised and said, "I originally planned to let you go, but now it seems that I can't." Old Ghost Xiao was not stupid. Although his cultivation had reached the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm, the Alchemist Union was a colossus. If he offended the Alchemist Union, even if he advanced to the Yuan Dan realm, he would not be able to escape misfortune. "Second brother, why are you talking nonsense with them? Leave this old man to me and Bai Fei to fourth brother." At this moment, Gao Shi took a step forward and coldly said, "As for Ningyu, second brother, you deal with him." "Yes, second brother, I have just advanced to the true martial realm and need to find someone to practice with." Looking at Bai Fei, Li Gang evilly smiled and said, "Xiantian Peak, barely passable." "All right." Nodding his head, old Ghost Xiao turned to the many Xiantian Peak martial artists and said, "All of you go to the entrance of Tiger Head Valley and guard it. Without my order, don't let a fly in." "Yes." The 12 perfected Xiantian martial artists leaped up and flew out of Tiger Head Valley in unison. These Xiantian Peak martial artists lined up at the entrance of Tiger Head Valley. Even a true martial realm early-stage martial artist would not dare to barge into Tiger Head Valley. "Jie, old man, it's your bad luck to meet me." With a strange laugh, Gao Shi leaned forward like a cheetah and locked his aura on Ju Tong. In the next moment, Gao Shi directly rushed toward Ju Tong. "Damn it!" Seeing Gao Shi rushing toward Ju Tong, a cold killing intent flashed across Ningyu's face. In an instant, a violent yuan qi surged out from his body. Ningyu's arms shook and a tyrannical attack swept out from his arms. His figure flashed and appeared in front of Gao Shi. "Go!" A low shout sounded in Ningyu's heart. Immediately, he pushed his right fist forward and directly attacked Gao Shi's head. The fist wrapped in violent yuan qi, with a violent sound of breaking the wind, fiercely smashed toward Gao Shi's head. Sensing that Ningyu's fist was about to hit his head, Gao Shi's complexion changed because this kind of attack had exceeded the limit that a true martial realm early-stage martial artist could display. In a hurry, he hurriedly crossed his arms in front of his body and surged his yuan qi, hoping to defend against Ningyu's attack. "Ningyu, your opponent is me, Xiao Devil's Claw." However, just as the fist was about to hit Gao Shi, a low shout sounded. Immediately, old Ghost Xiao rose from the ground, his right fist turned into a claw, and fiercely grabbed at Ningyu's fist. Bang! The fist wrapped in violent yuan qi collided with old Ghost Xiao's sharp claw, and suddenly a muffled sound resounded in Tiger Head Valley. Poochie! The huge force from the fist caused Ningyu's complexion to change. His body retreated a few steps before he could stabilize his body. After stabilizing his body, Ningyu spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. His eyes stared at old Ghost Xiao, his face full of disbelief. "You have advanced to the late stage of true martial realm." "What? Late stage of true martial realm?" Before old Ghost Xiao could answer, Ju Tong's pupils shrank, and a touch of despair appeared on his face. "He is a martial artist at the late stage of true martial realm." Late stage of true martial realm. At this moment, Bai Fei's complexion became extremely grave. If old Ghost Xiao was only a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of true martial realm, he could safely retreat without exposing his trump card. However, now that old Ghost Xiao had advanced to the late stage of true martial realm, It meant that if he didn't expose his trump card, it was basically impossible to leave here. Old Jew, I will hold Old Ghost Show and the others. You leave Tiger Head Valley immediately. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice. There are 12 Xiantian great perfection martial artists outside Tiger Head Valley. In my opinion, it is better to go deep into Tiger Head Valley and leave from the exit. At this time, Bai Fei also temporarily abandoned his prejudice against Ningyu. After all, Ningyu had forcefully resisted a move from Old Ghost Xiu, who was at the late stage of true martial realm. Even if it was him, he was not necessarily any better than Ningyu. No. The exit is too dangerous. Old Ghost Xiu and the others must have set up an ambush. Ningyu knew that outside Tiger Head Valley, there was a martial artist at least at the late stage of true martial realm guarding. Leaving from there was tantamount to throwing away his life. Chapter 141. Leave. The corner of Old Ghost Xiu's mouth slightly raised. Immediately, his figure flashed and instantly appeared in front of Ju Tong. His iron-like fist fiercely punched towards Ju Tong's cheek. At this moment, Old Ghost Xiu's late-stage true martial realm aura was completely revealed. The powerful aura emitted from his body made Ju Tong somewhat breathless. Quickly leave Tiger Head Valley. If we delay any longer, no one will be able to leave. With a flick of his wrist, the soul-breaking sword appeared in his hand. Ningyu shouted in a low voice, Old Jew, after you leave Tiger Head Valley, find a way to go to the capital. If I can leave, then we will meet in the capital. Let's go. Ju Tong was not an indecisive person. He knew that the difference in strength between him and Ningyu was too big. Staying here would not be of any help and would only add to the chaos. With his half-step true martial realm cultivation, even Jiao Shi was not his opponent, let alone the late-stage true martial realm Old Ghost Xiu. Xiu. In the next moment, Ju Tong and Bai Fei rose from the ground and rushed out of Tiger Head Valley. Seeing that Ju Tong and Li Gang were about to leave, Jiao Shi and Li Gang revealed a ruthless expression and chased after them. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. With a cold expression, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword. Suddenly, two shocking sword auras appeared. With an extremely violent speed, they chased after Jiao Shi and Li Gang. In a moment, they arrived in front of them. Then, under the horrified eyes of Jiao Shi and Li Gang, the shocking sword auras suddenly became bigger and finally hit their chests. Bang! Bang! Next, two crisp sounds came out. Jiao Shi and Li Gang's bodies were like kites with broken strings, falling straight to the ground. Shua. After repelling Jiao Shi and Li Gang, Ningyu did not stop. Instead, the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged and gathered on his wrists. Human desolate palm. Both palms were pushed out. The surrounding air seemed to be greatly oppressed and scattered. Two human-shaped palm prints appeared in front of Jiao Shi and Li Gang and then fiercely smashed towards their heads. Soul attack technique. When the human desolate palm was thrown out, Old Ghost Xiu's face drastically changed. He could feel a tremble from the depths of his soul. Go. Old Ghost Xiu's face turned cold and he flicked his fingers, sending out two rays of cold light that collided with the human desolate palm. In the next moment, the human desolation palm and the cold light simultaneously dissipated between heaven and earth. Seeing that the desolate man palm had been scattered, Jiao Shi and Li Gang felt as if they had just survived a calamity as beads of sweat appeared on their foreheads. Old Ju and Bai Fei should have left Tiger Head Valley by now. Glancing at Ju Tong and Bai Fei who had almost disappeared, Ningyu's heart was slightly relieved. Ningyu knew that with Bai Fei and Ju Tong's strength, it wouldn't be difficult for them to escape from 12 Xiantian full-circle martial artists. After all, Ju Tong was half a step into the true martial realm while Bai Fei's strength should not be lower than the early stage of the true martial realm. Old Ghost Xiu, it's time to settle the score between us. Turning to look at Old Ghost Xiu, Ningyu said in a deep voice, you've tried to kill me time and time again, do you really think I'm afraid of you? With that said, with a thought, Ningyu's clothes were replaced by a dark golden armor. Phantom armor. At this moment, Ningyu summoned the phantom armor. Ningyu, today, I will let you know the gap between the late stage of the Xiantian realm and the late stage of the true martial realm. Seeing the dark golden armor emerging on Ningyu's body, Old Ghost Show's face was slightly dignified, but that was all. After all, he could feel that the phantom armor was only a mid-grade Earthstep defensive magic treasure. Old Ghost Show, do you think my strength is only at the late stage of the Xiantian realm? The corner of Ningyu's mouth rose as his body shook. Immediately, the chi in the 6 cyclones all burst out and gathered on the surface of his body. Hiss! The powerful chi that gathered around Ningyu made even Old Ghost Show, who had reached the late stage of the true martial realm, feel a headache as he sucked in a breath of cold air. The strength of the chi in your sea of consciousness is actually so strong. The strength of the chi in each of Ningyu's cyclones was equivalent to that of a martial artist at the early stage of the true martial realm. 6 cyclones. The strength of the chi was equivalent to the total strength of 6 martial artists at the early stage of the true martial realm. If a late-stage Xiantian realm martial artist had such a strong chi, what would happen if he advanced to the Xiantian Great Circle or even the early stage of the true martial realm? Therefore, Old Ghost Show made up his mind to capture Ningyu alive no matter what. If he couldn't capture him alive, then he would destroy him. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Ignoring Old Ghost Show's shock, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword again and again. In an instant, 6 sword waves formed and surrounded Old Ghost Show in the middle. The reason why Ningyu didn't use his full strength was because he was afraid of the peak powerhouses hidden around and didn't want to expose too many of his cards. Humph. Insignificant skill. Although he was shocked, Old Ghost Show was, after all, a late-stage true martial realm martial artist. It was impossible for him to be scared by Ningyu. His hands grasped the void and suddenly, 6 balls of chi light were caught in his hands. Then, he suddenly threw them at Ningyu's sword wave. Kai 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 kai. Next, 6 crisp sounds rang out. Then, the chi light balls and the Heaven Fiend sword wave dispersed at the same time, and the aftermath spread out. Bang! 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 The powerful aftermath shook the surrounding cliffs, causing gravel to fall down. Shio! At this moment, Old Ghost Show suddenly rushed out and in the blink of an eye, arrived in front of Ningyu. His fist brought up a violent chi wind as it fiercely punched towards Ningyu's head. This punch was powerful and heavy, containing the chi wind of a late-stage true martial realm martial artist. If Ningyu was unlucky enough to be hit, even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In a split second, Ningyu flicked his wrist, gathered his soul force, wind, thunder, and fire in his palm, and then pushed it out. A nearly tangible palm print fiercely collided with Old Ghost Show's fist. Go! The moment the fist and palm collided, a touch of soul force and a touch of wind, thunder, and fire quietly entered Old Ghost Show's fist. Not good. Soul attack technique. After the first blow, Old Ghost Show, who originally wanted to launch a second attack, had an extremely ugly complexion and hurriedly retreated. This was because he felt 2 rays of cold light enter his body from his fists and wreak havoc inside. Good chance. Teish Kenpo. The change in Old Ghost Show was noticed by Ningyu. He seized the opportunity and once again waved the soul-breaking sword. Rustling sounds rang out as an even more powerful sword wave was formed and fiercely slashed towards Old Ghost Show's neck. Above the sword wave, the chi was majestic and vigorous, like thunder falling from the 9th heaven, buzzing. Old Ghost Show, it seems that you have just advanced to the late stage of the true martial realm, and your cultivation has not been completely stabilized. Glancing at the exit of Tiger Head Valley from the corner of his eyes, Ningyu lightly said, "If you wait until your cultivation has stabilized before you attack me, you might be able to kill me. But now, only death awaits you." With a high degree of concentration, Ningyu always paid attention to the situation around him. Buzz. However, when Teish Kenpo was about to slash Old Ghost Show's head, an illusory figure suddenly appeared in front of Old Ghost Show. Chapter 142. Seeing the figure that appeared, Ningyu's pupils shrank, and he could not help but retreat. Staring at the old woman in front of Old Ghost Show, Ningyu's expression became incomparably grave. Originally, he thought that the martial artist hidden outside the Tiger Head Valley was at the late stage of the true martial realm, or at most, the peak of the late stage. But now, it seemed that he was wrong, and very wrong. Peak of the true martial realm. The old woman with the crutch had already reached the peak of the true martial realm. Looking at the powerful yuan qi fluctuations emitted from her body, she was not far from the yuan dan realm. Old Ghost Xiao, you disappoint me. The old woman with the crutch patted Old Ghost Xiao's body, forcing out the wind, thunder, fire, and soul force in his body, and said indifferently, a small late-stage Xiantian martial artist actually forced you to such a state. If I had not appeared in time, I'm afraid you would have already gone to see the King of Hell. Seeing the old woman with the crutch, Old Ghost Xiao trembled all over, and said in a trembling voice, Elder, please give me another chance. This time, I will definitely tear Ningyu's body into 1,000 pieces. Waving her hand, the old woman with the crutch said, no need. The young master has ordered us to rush to the capital immediately, so I will deal with this brat for you. Swish. As soon as she finished speaking, the old woman with the crutch's figure flashed, and in an instant, she appeared in front of Ningyu. Who? Swinging the crutch in her hand, it drew a beautiful arc in the air, and fiercely smashed towards Ningyu's face. At this critical moment, the broken soul sword in Ningyu's hand suddenly stabbed out, and it collided with the crutch. Ding! When the two collided, there was no earth-shattering sound. There was only a crisp sound. Poochie. However, the backlash from the palm of his hand caused Ningyu to retreat several feet before he could dispel it. Spurting out a mouthful of blood, Ningyu's face was slightly pale. Staring at the old woman with the crutch, Ningyu said in an incredulous voice, True martial realm great completion, the yuan qi in your sea of consciousness has gradually turned into a liquid, and you are only one step away from the half-step yuan dan realm. Noisy. Obviously, the old woman with the crutch was a little impatient with Ningyu's shock. She took a step forward, and the liquid yuan qi in her sea of consciousness gushed out, forming an yuan dan in the air. Die! The liquid yuan dan was extremely fast. Before Ningyu could react, it had already arrived in front of him and fiercely smashed towards his heart. Catcher. However, the old woman with the crutch, 986, heart, and the old woman with the great, old man with the dan, 99, king 9, not, the old woman with 9910, yang, 10, the great, dragon, ching, yith, the soul, 91199, right, it's a small tortoise shell. After a short period of shock, Ningyu reacted. The thing that blocked the fatal blow in his heart was the small tortoise shell he got from the armored dragon tortoise. However, at this time, the small tortoise shell had cracks on it. Apparently, it was about to shatter. Damn it! Phantom armor, go! Cursing, Ningyu did not dare to stay here any longer. Wrapping his soul force around the phantom armor, he rushed out of the Tiger Head Valley. Although the phantom armor was only a middle-grade Earthstep artifact, its speed was not slow. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared. Elder, that brat Ningyu ran away. Seeing the old woman with the crutch remain indifferent, Old Man Xiao anxiously said, if we can't kill him today, there will be endless troubles in the future. Old Man Xiao knew the speed of Ningyu's growth. He was afraid that in another 3 days, Ningyu would be able to compete with the old woman with the crutch. Immediately go to the capital and meet up with the young master. As for Ningyu, leave him to me. The old woman with the crutch took the liquid yuan qi in the air back into her sea of consciousness, took a deep breath, and said in a deep voice, in any case, we can't ruin the young master's plan. Understood. Although he wanted to chase after Ningyu personally, thinking of the young master's ruthlessness, Old Man Xiao nodded and said, I will mobilize my men and secretly go to the capital. Immediately, the old woman with the crutch rushed out of the Tiger Head Valley. Just now, when Ningyu was not paying attention, the old woman with the crutch injected a special smell into the soul-breaking sword. Now, she just happened to follow the smell and chased after Ningyu. The old woman with the crutch is a true martial realm martial artist. I am absolutely not her opponent. After leaving the Tiger Head Valley, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around the phantom armor and raised his speed to the limit. Not long after, he sensed a powerful figure chasing after him. The phantom armor was a middle-grade Earthstep magic weapon, and its speed was comparable to a peak middle-stage true martial realm martial artist, but in the face of the old woman with the crutch, who was at the true martial realm peak, it was obviously not as strong as she wished. Boy, in front of me, you can't escape. The old woman with the crutch was not anxious at all, and slowly followed behind Ningyu. When Ningyu sped up, she sped up, and when Ningyu slowed down, she slowed down. Hand over the treasure on you, and I can promise to leave your corpse intact. The reason why the old woman with the crutch was not so anxious was because she was looking at the small turtle shell on Ningyu's body. After all, it was a treasure that could resist her full blow. Old fart, you want it, don't you? In any case, his speed was not as fast as the old woman with the crutch, so Ningyu simply stopped and raised the small turtle shell in his hand. I will not give it to you. With that, Ningyu forcefully swung the small turtle shell in the air and disappeared with a flash of starlight. Good, very good, anyway, I can get it after I kill you. The old woman with the crutch secretly remembered the landing point of the small turtle shell, and then lightly said, in the future, remember not to offend people you shouldn't offend. Old fart, even if I die today, I will make you lose a layer of skin. Ningyu clenched his fists and said fiercely, Hihi, I am afraid you are not qualified to make me lose a layer of skin. With a slight smile, the old woman with the crutch immediately flashed out, her body turned into a shadow, and attacked Ningyu. In the face of the strong attack of the old woman with the crutch, Ningyu did not dare to be negligent. Holding the broken soul sword in his hand, he repeatedly slashed out several sword lights. At the same time, the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness surged, Ningyu's wrist made a sign, and in an instant, he blasted out several huge palm prints. F***ck, which bastard is it? Does he not want to live anymore? While Ningyu and the old woman with the crutch were fighting, a loud scolding came from the bushes in the distance. Damn it! How dare you disturb my rest? I think you must have eaten the heart of a bear and the courage of a leopard. No, I mean, how can a bear and leopard be my opponent? With a curse, a black puppy rushed out of the bushes, holding the small turtle shell that Ningyu had thrown out in its mouth. Heh! Turtle shell? After a short scolding, the black puppy looked puzzled, put the turtle shell on the ground, and looked around. Chapter 143. Rumble. In the mountain forest, after the loud noise, Ningyu and the old woman with iron crutches both took a few steps back. The old woman with iron crutches stood with her hands behind her back, looked at Ningyu, and said indifferently, You should be proud to have withstood 3 of my moves with your late Xiantian cultivation. Now, let's put an end to this. The old woman with iron crutches took a step forward, and suddenly sand and stones flew, and the powerful yuan qi wave broke the small trees around them. The powerful yuan qi wave arrived in front of Ningyu at an extremely astonishing speed, and before the latter could react, it fiercely hit his chest. Because blocking the 3 moves of the old woman with iron crutches consumed too much of his energy, Ningyu had no room to resist. He could only gather the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness in his chest to form a small protective shield. Crack. The small protective shield was, after all, only a small protective shield. As soon as it was hit by the yuan qi wave, it shattered. Poochie. The huge force that came from his chest made Ningyu spit out a mouthful of red blood, and his aura was a little weak. Facing the old woman with iron crutches who was at the peak of the real martial realm, even if Ningyu used all his strength, he could only withstand 4 moves. Remember, in the next life, don't. Oh no. Raising her wrist, the old woman with iron crutches was about to strike, but her expression suddenly changed, and she could not help but retreat. Swoosh. As the old woman with iron crutches retreated, a cold light approached from afar, and appeared behind her in an instant, blocking her retreat. Old dog, how dare you offend Master Dog? No one in the world can save you. Behind the old woman with iron crutches, the black puppy retreated and stood upright, and said fiercely, Do you want to kill yourself, or do you want me to do it? Dog. Seeing the black puppy, the old woman with iron crutches was obviously stunned, and then she smiled and said, I was wondering which expert it was, so it's a dog. Dark Emperor. Compared to the old woman with iron crutches, Ningyu's reaction was much greater. The moment he saw the black puppy, the dejection on his face was swept away, replaced by excitement. Why are you here? The Dark Emperor raised his proud head and said casually, If I wasn't here, wouldn't you be finished? If there's anything else, we can talk about it later. I'll deal with this old fart first. Waving his hand, the Dark Emperor interrupted Ningyu and said, You really know how to cause trouble for me. To think that you can even offend a pinnacle true martial realm cultivator. Pug, you want to kill me? Alright, I haven't had dog meat in a long time. I can eat braised dog meat today. The old woman on the crutch curled her lips in disdain. Then, she rolled her eyes and smiled evilly. A dog that can talk. I'm sure the young master will be satisfied. Courting death. With a cold shout, the Dark Emperor suddenly flew into the air, and a pair of sharp claws fiercely clawed at the old woman with the iron crutch. With a cold expression, the old woman threw her walking stick forward to meet the Dark Emperor's claw. Ah! It was obvious that the old woman had underestimated the Dark Emperor's strength. The moment the crutch and the sharp claws came into contact, the Dark Emperor suddenly swung his tail and heavily whipped the old woman's arm. Letting out a scream, the old woman quickly retreated. The bloody marks on her arm caused the old woman with the crutch to fly into a rage. The aura of the great circle of the true martial realm was undoubtedly revealed as she crazily suppressed the Dark Emperor. You're still too young to compete with me in terms of aura. The corner of his mouth rose into an evil smile as the Dark Emperor roared towards the sky. The aura around his body instantly rushed out, suppressing the old woman with the crutch to the point where she couldn't breathe. The Dark Emperor's strength has increased again. Defeating the old woman with the iron crutch is only a matter of time. Ningyu knew that he was safe now, so he hurriedly retreated to the side, took out a few high-grade origin crystals, circulated the spirit transformation art, and began to slowly absorb them. The fight with the old woman with the iron crutch had exhausted the yuan qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness, and he had almost lost his combat strength. Now, he could use this opportunity to recover. Rumble. Rumble. While Ningyu was recovering, the Dark Emperor and the old woman with the iron crutch were engaged in a great battle. Yuan qi light wave. The liquid yuan qi in the old woman's sea of consciousness poured out and blasted towards the Dark Emperor. Facing the boundless yuan qi that was attacking him, a strange smile appeared on the Dark Emperor's face. He then opened his mouth and an extremely powerful suction force came out from his mouth. This is bad. Feeling the huge suction force coming from the Dark Emperor's mouth, the old woman with the crutch's expression changed drastically. She wanted to retract the liquid yuan qi. Gulp. However, the old woman with the crutch was clearly half a beat too slow. A pair of purplish gold wings appeared on the Dark Emperor's back, causing his speed to increase explosively. In an instant, he swallowed the old woman with the crutch's liquid yuan qi into his mouth. After swallowing the liquid yuan qi, the Dark Emperor burped and said, "Great nourishment, truly great nourishment. If I have another 100 of these liquid yuan qi for me to devour, I'm afraid I can complete the first stage of evolution." Run. The moment the liquid yuan qi was devoured by the Dark Emperor, the old woman with the crutch completely lost the courage to resist. Her feet touched the ground and she used all her strength to escape. However, how could she, who had lost her liquid yuan qi, be faster than the Dark Emperor? Without much effort, the Dark Emperor grabbed the old woman with the crutch and threw her in front of Ningyu. "Speak, you decide how to deal with her. There's no use in keeping her. Kill her." Frowning slightly, Ningyu said, "Wait, I still want to ask her a question." After thinking for a while, before Ningyu could finish his sentence, he saw the Dark Emperor grab the old woman with the crutch's walking stick and smash it towards the old woman's head. With a raise of the crutch, the old woman with the crutch was smashed to death by her own crutch. "Hey, Ningyu, why didn't you say so earlier?" Looking at the old woman with the crutch who was lying on the ground, the Dark Emperor threw the crutch on the ground and said, "It's too late now, this old bastard has already gone to see the King of Hell. Forget it, I don't have any big problems." Originally, Ningyu wanted to ask the old woman with the crutch about the young master, but since she had been killed, there was no need to ask. This crutch is not bad, it should be a low-grade heaven-rank magic treasure. Picking up the crutch on the ground and putting it into his storage ring, Ningyu said, "It's a waste not to take it." "Up to you, I don't need any crutches anyway." Shrugging, the Dark Emperor threw the small turtle shell to Ningyu and said, "This turtle shell should also be yours. I can feel a trace of your aura on it." Putting the small turtle shell into his storage ring, Ningyu asked, "Dark Emperor, why are you here? Also, Didn't you go to investigate the location of the corpse sect's headquarters? How is the investigation going? The people of the corpse sect are extremely sinister and cunning. They must have hidden their headquarters. When the corpse sect was mentioned, the Dark Emperor suddenly became angry. After searching for several days, he still couldn't find any information about the corpse sect's headquarters. Chapter 144. Secret Base. Raising his brows, Ningyu asked doubtfully, "What secret base? Where did you find it?" In the process of investigating the corpse sect's headquarters, I found a corpse sect early-stage true martial realm martial artist who was behaving abnormally. Speaking of the secret base, the Dark Emperor was somewhat proud and said, every 2 days, he would purchase some things from Bright King City and then send them to the secret base. "Do you know what's in the secret base?" Ningyu asked. I'm not too sure about that." Slightly embarrassed, the Dark Emperor said, "But it doesn't matter. With my strength, even if I force my way into the secret base, it won't be a big problem." Although he didn't know what was in the secret base, the Dark Emperor had already investigated it. The secret base was in a cave not far away, and there was a formation at the entrance. Every 2 days, the true martial realm early-stage martial artist would enter the cave, and at that time, the formation would be opened, which was also the best time for them to enter the cave. "Dark Emperor, we can't be careless about this matter. Let's make sure that there are no mistakes before we act." Ningyu knew how sinister the corpse sect was, so he decided to investigate thoroughly before entering the cave. If there was an origin core realm expert in the cave, then their gains would not make up for their losses. "I don't care. Since you want to investigate, do as you please." Shrugging, the Dark Emperor said, "Today is the day that the corpse sect early-stage true martial realm martial artist goes to the cave. I can capture him and let you interrogate him." "All right, let's do that." Nodding his head, Ningyu said, "Follow me." In the next moment, the Dark Emperor kicked the ground and rushed into the distance. Following closely behind, Ningyu chased after him. Rustle. In the dense shrubs, 2 figures were lying on the ground. "Emperor of the Dark World, when will the person you mentioned come over?" Ningyu followed the Dark Emperor to the bushes and hid inside. However, after hiding inside for more than half a day, not even a shadow was seen. Ningyu couldn't help but say, "Don't miscalculate the time. Is he not coming today? Don't be in such a hurry, wait a bit more." The Dark Emperor was rather relaxed. He laid in the shrubbery, closing his eyes to rest, not minding at all. Helpless, Ningyu could only choose to wait quietly. Crack, crack. In the evening, the sound of a few branches being stepped on could be heard. Then, the Dark Emperor suddenly opened his eyes and said in a low voice, "He's here." Not long after the Dark Emperor spoke, 2 silhouettes appeared nearby. 2 people. Looking at the 2 figures in the distance, Ningyu was slightly stunned, and then said, "Emperor Dark, didn't you say that there was only 1 person? Why are there 2 of them now, and—" At this point, Ningyu paused for a moment and continued, "One of them had a 5th grade soul force. If I'm not wrong, he should be an alchemist. I don't know what's going on either." The Dark Emperor was also a little puzzled. The previous few times, he had come alone. As for why there were 2 people today, he did not understand either. Who cares about 1 or 2 of them? Let's capture them first. After a brief moment of doubt, the Emperor of Darkness wanted to step forward, but he was pressed to the ground by Ningyu. "Don't move, I know one of them. Mu Tuor, a Tier 5 alchemist." Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice, 3 days ago, Mu Tuor's soul strength was only at the 4th level, and had yet to recover to the 5th level. In just 3 short days, his soul strength had already recovered to the 5th level. There must be something strange about this. Ningyu knew that the soul nourishment method he had given Mu Tuor was only the first half, and was completely insufficient for Mu Tuor to recover his soul strength to the 5th level in 3 days, or even improve. From this, it could be seen that there was definitely an extraordinary secret in the cave. "You mean, there are martial artists with powerful soul strength in the cave?" The Dark Emperor was not stupid, but very smart. As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, he reacted. However, the Dark Emperor was obviously impatient, and said, "Ningyu, although that Mu Tuor's soul strength has reached the 5th level, his cultivation is very low, only at the early stage of the true martial realm. Why don't I capture them and interrogate them? No hurry, we'll talk about it later. Ningyu concealed his aura and said slowly. The two of them are just martial artists in the early stage of the true martial realm. With your strength, you can easily kill them. How about this? I will temporarily enter the storage ring. When you enter the cave, call me out. With that, the Dark Emperor turned into a shadow and entered the storage ring. Swoosh. When the Dark Emperor entered the storage ring, far away, Mu Tuor raised his eyebrows and said to the one-eyed martial artist next to him, "Did you notice anything wrong?" "Something wrong?" "Master Mu Tuor, I didn't notice anything wrong." The one-eyed martial artist was puzzled. Although the one-eyed martial artist's cultivation was at the early stage of the true martial realm, his soul strength was relatively weak. If even Mu Tuor could not sense it, he naturally could not notice it. Forget it, telling you is useless. Mu Tuor released a little of his soul strength and probed the situation around him. After a while, he withdrew his soul strength and said indifferently, "Has Master Lung's condition improved in the past 2 days?" Master Lung's soul strength has recovered to the middle stage of the 5th level, only a step away from the late stage of the 5th level. The one-eyed martial artist did not dare to be negligent and said hurriedly. This time, the sect sent a large number of herbs, and gave us a strict order to help Master Lung recover his soul strength to the 6th level. Mu Tuor said solemnly, "How is the defense of the cave?" "Master Mu Tuor, there is a 10-killing formation at the entrance of the cave. Even a martial artist at the middle stage of the true martial realm may not be able to break in." The one-eyed martial artist replied, "Moreover, there are many corpse guards in the cave, and there are many traps. Unless you are a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm, even if you enter the cave, you will die." "Not enough." Hearing the one-eyed martial artist's words, Mu Tuor pondered for a moment, then flicked his sleeve, and a black token appeared in his hand. "We must ensure Master Lung's safety. Take my 5-star token and head to Bright King City as fast as possible. Mobilize all the forces of the Corpse Yin sect in Bright King City." Originally, Mu Tuor did not intend to mobilize such a large force, but a trace of trembling in the depths of his soul made him raise his guard. After all, if something happened to Master Lung, he would also have to bear the consequences. "Yes, Master Mu Tuor." After receiving the black token from Mu Tuor's hand, the one-eyed martial artist's figure flashed, and he returned the way he came. As for Mu Tuor, he stood in the same place for a while, then moved his feet and disappeared in the blink of an eye. After confirming that Mu Tuor was far away, Ningyu came out of the bushes. After coming out, Ningyu did not linger. His soul moved, and the phantom armor appeared. Shio. Chapter 145. Whoosh. The speed of the phantom armor was enough to catch up with a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. The one-eyed martial artist was only at the early stage of the true martial realm, so after a while, Ningyu caught up with him. "Brat. What are you trying to do?" Seeing Ningyu, the one-eyed martial artist narrowed his eyes and said coldly, "If you know what's good for you, leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." Teish Kenpo. After catching up with the one-eyed martial artist, Ningyu did not waste any time. Instead, he waved the soul-severing sword and attacked with a sword wave. Kai Kai. The sword wave was so fast that it even created a sizzling sound as it rubbed against the air. In the next moment, the sword wave hit the one-eyed martial artist's chest. The huge impact caused the one-eyed martial artist to retreat several feet. Shio. With his attack successful, Ningyu rushed out with the soul-severing sword in his hand, arriving in front of the one-eyed martial artist in the blink of an eye. Pointing the soul-severing sword at the one-eyed martial artist's neck, Ningyu said lightly, "Answer a few questions of mine. After I answer your questions, will you let me go?" After a short fight, the one-eyed martial artist had already determined that the gap between him and Ningyu was huge. "You have no choice." The soul-severing sword slightly pierced into the one-eyed martial artist's skin. Ningyu said, "First question, what is in the cave?" "Master Lung is in the cave." The one-eyed martial artist said carefully, "Master Lung is a 6th-grade alchemist. He is very powerful. Second question, how can I enter the cave without triggering the 10 killings array? Ningyu continued. The 10 killings array has an array eye. As long as you find the array eye and close it, you will not trigger the 10 killings array. The one-eyed martial artist rolled his eyes and said, "Where is the array eye?" Ningyu asked. "Come closer and I will tell you where the array eye is," the one-eyed martial artist said in a deep voice. Hearing this, Ningyu was stunned. He then moved closer to the one-eyed martial artist. Shio. However, when Ningyu was 30 centimeters away from the one-eyed martial artist, the one-eyed martial artist suddenly jumped up and shot out a silver needle from his sleeve, fiercely stabbing at Ningyu's head. "Humph! I already expected you to use this move. How could I let you succeed?" Ding! With a cold snort, Ningyu waved the soul-breaking sword in his hand and cut the silver needle in half. Desolation palm. After that, Ningyu's soul power gathered in his palm. He pushed out his palm, and a human-shaped palm print appeared, gradually expanding in the one-eyed warrior's eyes. In the end, it fiercely slammed down. Ah! The one-eyed cultivator screamed like a pig being slaughtered. The one-eyed cultivator's mouth gaped open, and the horror in his eyes intensified. Until the moment of his death, he did not understand how Ningyu had discovered his sneak attack. "My soul power is much stronger than yours. I have already discovered the silver needles hidden in your sleeves." Shrugging his shoulders, Ningyu started searching the one-eyed warrior's body. Soon, a black token appeared in Ningyu's hand. 5 skulls. Seeing the 5 skulls on the token, Ningyu was a little shocked. When he first heard Mu Tuor's words, he thought the black token would have 5 stars. Who would have thought that there were 5 skulls on the token? Without thinking too much, Ningyu put the black token into his interspatial ring and said with a frown, "Although I killed the one-eyed martial artist and cut off the connection between Mu Tuor and the Corpse Yin sect, the 10 killing array is still a problem. I wonder if the Dark Emperor has a way to break the 10 killing array." Thinking of this, Ningyu inserted his soul power into his interspatial ring and called out the Dark Emperor. "Didn't I tell you to call me when you enter the cave?" After coming out, the Dark Emperor looked left and right. When he found that he was not in front of the cave, he was a little unhappy and muttered, "My sweet dream was ruined by you just like that. If you have something to say, spit it out. I still need to find my Ahua." Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu's face darkened. It seemed that he had disturbed the Dark Emperor's daydream. However, Ningyu didn't have time to argue with the Dark Emperor. He went straight to the point and said, "Dark Emperor, you've been to the cave several times. Do you have a way to break the 10 killing array?" 10 killing array? That kind of low-level array can't stop me. The Dark Emperor patted his chest and said, "When the time comes, you can follow behind me. I'll bring you into the cave. Also, don't disturb me with such trivial matters in the future. I'll go in and sleep for a while. You can go into the cave first." With that, the Dark Emperor was about to enter the interspatial ring. "Dark Emperor, what I mean is, can you enter the cave without anyone noticing?" Ningyu was a little speechless. Under the premise that you don't trigger the 10 killing array. Indeed, with the Dark Emperor's strength, forcefully tearing apart the defense of the 10 killing array was not a difficult task. But the key point was that they did not understand the situation in the cave. If the people inside were to be alerted and escape through the small path, wouldn't their efforts be in vain? After telling the Dark Emperor about the worries in his heart, the Dark Emperor also fell into deep thought. After a moment, the Dark Emperor said, "It's not impossible to enter the cave without anyone noticing." "What method?" Ningyu asked. "I'll transform into my main body and devour the 10 killing array." The Dark Emperor's words shocked everyone to death. The moment he spoke, Ningyu was shocked to the point that his face was filled with stupefaction. Devouring 10 killing array? Perhaps only the Dark Emperor could think of such a bold idea. "Dark Emperor, can you be more practical?" Ningyu was a little speechless as he said. "The 10 killing array is set up at the entrance of the cave, covering the entire entrance." Spreading out his hands, the Dark Emperor said, "Every time the one-eyed martial artist enters the cave, there will be 2 martial artists in the early stage of the true martial realm coming out of the cave and temporarily sealing the formation core from the inside. If we stand in front of the cave, I'm afraid the warriors inside will come out and fight us to the death. Shrugging, the Dark Emperor said casually. One-eyed warrior. That's right. One-eyed warrior. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu revealed a look of joy, and hurriedly said, I can pretend to be a one-eyed warrior, and then enter the cave. The heck? Ningyu, when did you become so smart? The Dark Emperor looked at Ningyu as if he was looking at a monster, revealing an exaggerated expression. Cut the crap, pretend to be a one-eyed warrior, I need your help. Waving his hand, Ningyu said. How can I help you? All I can do is start a massacre after entering the cave. Curling his lips, the Dark Emperor said. I've learned the art of disguise before, so it's not difficult to imitate a one-eyed warrior. It's just that I don't have some medicinal herbs at the moment, so I need you to go to the nearest city to help me get them. In his previous life, Ningyu had learned a lot of things, and he had naturally dabbled in techniques like the art of disguise. However, as the saying goes, a clever housewife can't cook without rice. Even if he had learned the art of disguise, without the medicinal herbs, it would be impossible for Ningyu to become a one-eyed warrior. Looking at Ningyu, the Dark Emperor felt a little helpless, and said, All right, tell me what medicinal herbs you need, I'll help you find them. Human face grass, leg flower, Judei flower, smoke leaf. After receiving the Dark Emperor's confirmation, Ningyu listed out more than a dozen medicinal herbs. What kind of messy medicinal herbs are these? Just you wait, I'll go give it a try. Whether or not I can find it will be up to the heavens. After grumbling, the Dark Emperor's figure flashed, and he left the place. The medicinal herbs that Ningyu had named were all the most ordinary first-grade medicinal herbs, and there were many of them on the market. Chapter 146. In a dark stone chamber, two people were conversing. Master Leng, this is the spirit lotus seed that the sect asked me to bring. I hope that it can help you recover your soul strength to grade 6. After parting ways with the one-eyed cultivator, Mu Tuor rushed to the cave. After all, the sect had given him an order to restore Master Leng to his peak as soon as possible. Mu Tuor did not dare to delay. The spirit lotus seed is a grade 7 medicinal herb. It is incomparably precious. I will not let the sect down. Master Leng was around 70 years old. His hair was white, his eyes were bright, and his aura was steady. Taking the storage pouch from Mu Tuor, Master Leng probed it with his soul strength. A moment later, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Not bad, there are 3 spirit lotus seeds. Furthermore, there are many other medicinal herbs that can recover soul strength. With these medicinal herbs, I should be able to recover my soul strength to grade 6 in 3 days. Taking a deep breath, Master Leng's eyes glowed. Pass down my order. Without my permission, no one is to enter this stone chamber. Yes. Mu Tuor replied and left the stone chamber. Master Mu Tuor, someone wants to enter the cave. As soon as Mu Tuor left the stone chamber, a corpse guard walked up and said, Do you want to, Who wants to enter at this time? Mu Tuor interrupted the corpse guard with a frown. One-eyed cultivator, the corpse guard replied. As Mu Tuor had said that anyone who entered the cave would have to go through his permission, the corpse guard did not dare to let the one-eyed cultivator in. One-eyed cultivator? Didn't he head to Bright King City? Why is he back so soon? Mu Tuor frowned doubtfully. Logically speaking, no matter how fast the one-eyed cultivator was, he should be in Bright King City at this time. Let's go and take a look. Since there was nothing for him to do here, Mu Tuor decided to take a look to see what the one-eyed cultivator was up to. Master Leng's safety had to be guaranteed. If the one-eyed cultivator dared to spoil his plans, Mu Tuor did not mind teaching him a lesson. Shua. The stone chamber was not too far from the entrance of the cave. A few minutes later, Mu Tuor arrived at the entrance. One-eyed cultivator, didn't you go to Bright King City? When he saw the familiar figure standing outside the cave, Mu Tuor said in a low voice, Why have you returned so quickly? Grandmaster Mu Tuor, I have something urgent to report to you. Outside the cave, the one-eyed martial artist had an anxious look on his face as he hurriedly said, I've received definite news that someone will launch an attack on this base. Hearing this, Mu Tuor was startled and asked, Who dares to attack the corpse sect's base? Grandmaster Mu Tuor, this. I've only just heard about this. The one-eyed cultivator was obviously very anxious, and he even stuttered a little. I brought your 5-star token to Bright King City. Halfway there, I was lucky enough to overhear a conversation between two powerhouses. They were going to attack this base. With that, the one-eyed martial artist flicked his wrist and a black 5-star token appeared in his hand. According to my conjecture, their strength is at least at the middle stage of the true martial realm. I did not dare to be negligent and immediately returned to inform you. Control the formation core and let the one-eyed martial artist in. Although he was somewhat doubtful, Mu Tuor still ordered the corpse guards to control the formation core and let the one-eyed martial artist enter the cave. However, he secretly made a mark with his right hand behind his back. As this mark was made, the void in the cave faintly trembled. Whoosh! The one-eyed martial artist did not know what Mu Tuor was doing. Seeing that the formation core was under control, his face lit up with joy and he leaped into the cave. Grandmaster Mu Tuor, this is your 5-star token. After entering the cave, the one-eyed martial artist immediately handed the black token to Mu Tuor. Putting away the black token, Mu Tuor said indifferently, "Well, tell me what those two martial artists said." Grandmaster Mu Tuor, those two martial artists. Not good. However, before the one-eyed martial artist could finish speaking, his expression changed dramatically and he hurriedly retreated several steps. Whoosh! As the one-eyed martial artist retreated, a large number of corpse guards suddenly rushed out from behind Mu Tuor. The strength of these corpse guards was between the early and middle stages of the true martial realm, and there were 20 to 30 of them. Moreover, the corpse guard at the very front had strength comparable to a peak middle stage true martial realm martial artist. Did they discover me? Ning Yu's heart trembled, and the origin chi in his sea of consciousness surged slightly. However, he did not immediately attack. He believed that his disguise technique was superb, and with Mu Tuor's eyesight, he would definitely not discover him. Mu Tuor slowly retreated to the middle of the corpse guards and said indifferently, "One-eyed martial artist, I'll give you a chance. Tell me what happened." Grandmaster Mu Tuor, I don't understand what you're saying. Hearing Mu Tuor's words, Ning Yu calmed down. Since Mu Tuor had not discovered that the real one-eyed martial artist was dead, there was a need for him to continue acting. With an angry expression, Ning Yu said, "Everything I said is the truth. Even if I see Grandmaster Leng, I will say the same thing." "Haha, you want to see Grandmaster Leng, right? I'll fulfill your wish." Mu Tuor smiled and waved his hand. Two corpse guards stepped forward, one on each side of Ning Yu. "Grandmaster Leng is currently in seclusion. You will only be able to see him when he comes out," Mu Tuor said. "As for now, I'll have to trouble you for now. Bring him to the last stone chamber." The two corpse guards brought Ning Yu into the depths of the cave. 10 minutes later, Ning Yu was brought to the door of a stone chamber. Clang! One of the corpse guards opened the heavy stone door and brought Ning Yu in. "One-eyed martial artist, wait here for now." At the door of the stone chamber, Mu Tuor hesitated for a moment before saying, "As for your innocence, I will investigate it thoroughly." Mu Tuor instructed, "Look after the stone chamber. Without my permission, don't let a fly out. It seems that I will have to make a trip to Bright Ruler City personally." Frowning slightly, Mu Tuor felt that there was something fishy about this matter. Taking a deep breath, he walked out of the cave. Whoosh! Inside the stone chamber, the Dark Emperor suddenly rushed out from his spatial ring. "Ning Yu, why didn't you let me make a move just now? Against these small fries, I can kill them with a flick of my finger." The Dark Emperor was clearly a little unhappy as he grumbled. "Dark Emperor, Mu Tuor was only suspicious of me. He didn't guess that the one-eyed martial artist had already been killed by us." Ning Yu said, "Since this cave is the corpse sect's base, there must be some formations and powerful cultivators inside. If we act rashly, we might alert them." "Then tell me, what should we do now?" The Dark Emperor said. "Hihi, we are currently in the depths of the cave. Why don't you use your advantage and find out which stone chamber that Grandmaster Leng is in?" Chapter 147. Swish. Hearing Ningyu's words, the Dark Emperor flapped his purplish gold wings and floated in the air. Staring at Ningyu with interest, the Dark Emperor's eyes revealed a hint of admiration. Not bad at all. I didn't expect you to be so smart. I'm going to faint. Rolling his eyes, Ningyu said, stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and find Master Lung's stone room. I'm afraid Mu Tuor will go to Bright Ruler City to call for reinforcements. Why would I be afraid of his reinforcements? The Dark Emperor snorted and said angrily, if one comes, I'll kill one. If two come, I'll kill a pair. Come, all right, I know you're strong, Ningyu interrupted the Dark Emperor and said, do you still want to go to the corpse sex treasure vault? If you do, then hurry up and do it. As long as we find Master Lung, not only will we be able to obtain treasures and pills, we can even force him to tell us where the corpse sect's headquarters is. Facing the Dark Emperor, Ningyu could only use provocation. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? As expected, the Dark Emperor was provoked. He quickly unleashed his perception and began to search for Master Lung's location. In fact, Ningyu's perception was not weak. After all, his soul force had reached the middle phase of the 4th grade. However, Ningyu did not unleash his soul force because he didn't know how much Master Lung had recovered. If he attracted Master Lung's attention, it would not be worth it. The Dark Emperor was different. He was from the Heaven-Devouring Hound clan. The clan had a unique perception method. Even if Master Lung's soul force had recovered to the 6th grade, it would still be difficult for him to discover him. Buzz. 1 minute later, the Dark Emperor withdrew his perception. His lips curled up as he said to Ningyu, I found him. There is a cultivator with a strong soul energy in a secret room 30 meters away from us. If I am not wrong, he should be Master Lung. 30 meters. Ningyu did not doubt the Dark Emperor's judgment, but 30 meters was not a good distance for them to cross. After thinking for a moment, Ningyu said, Dark Emperor, does your heaven-devouring dog clan know how to burrow? A distance of 30 meters was neither long nor short. With the speed of Ningyu and the Dark Emperor, it would only take a moment for them to arrive. However, Ningyu was worried that they would trigger the hidden array and alert the enemy. Then all their efforts would be in vain. F***CK. As soon as Ningyu finished speaking, the Emperor of the Dark World couldn't help but curse. Dig a hole? You actually want the Dark Emperor to dig a hole? How unreasonable. Only rats can dig holes. If you want to dig a hole, do it yourself. I won't help you. Wait. Dark Emperor, what did you just say? Ningyu asked with a deep frown. Go dig a hole yourself. I won't help you. The previous sentence. Only rats can dig holes. That's right. Ningyu slapped his thigh and said happily, Rats, this is great. Then, Ningyu activated his soul force and summoned the Phantom Armor. The Phantom Armor is the treasure of the Phantom Rat clan. Not only can it fly in the air, but it can also walk underground. Ningyu said, Dark Emperor, tell me where Master Lung is and I will take you there. Why didn't you take it out earlier? With a flash, the Dark Emperor entered the storage ring. That stone room is 31 meters east. Understood. After putting away the storage ring, Ningyu wrapped his soul force around the Phantom Armor and suddenly leaped into the air. Then, he dived into the ground with his head facing downward. Kai. After entering the underground, Ningyu first drilled downwards. He only stopped after traveling for several dozen meters. Then, he turned his head and drilled towards the east. After all, this was the territory of the Corpse Yin sect. To be safe, Ningyu felt that it was worth it even if it took a little more time. Crack. However, after moving 10 meters east, Ningyu encountered an obstacle. His head hit something hard. What? After stabilizing his body, Ningyu looked around. He saw a fist-sized object 1 meter in front of him that was emitting a scorching light. Essence-gathering stone? Seeing the body of the glowing object, Ningyu slightly frowned and said with some doubt, Essence-gathering stones are usually used to arrange essence-gathering arrays. They are extremely precious. Why would there be one here? Then, Ningyu slightly released his soul force, trying to get closer to the essence-gathering stone. Hiss. However, as soon as his soul force spread out, Ningyu took a deep breath and then revealed an ecstatic expression. Essence gathering array. It must be the essence gathering array. What a big move. The corpse insect is really big. Ningyu found that there was a steady stream of pure essence chi flowing around the essence gathering stone. This essence chi came from 3 directions and was all injected into the essence gathering stone. Then, it moved eastward. Once again releasing his soul force, Ningyu carefully controlled it to move around. About 15 minutes later, Ningyu withdrew his soul force back into his body. He took a deep breath and murmured, "There are 9 other essence gathering stones around this essence gathering stone. If I didn't guess wrong, the essence gathering stone 20 meters to the east should be the eye of the essence gathering formation. All the essence chi is revolving around it. 20 meters east is the bottom of the stone room where Master Lung is." Frowning, Ningyu thought of a countermeasure. The amount of essence gathering array that was arranged with 10 essence gathering stones was extremely shocking. With such a huge amount of essence chi, Ningyu definitely did not want to miss it. First, find the core of the array, then think of a way. With a serious expression, Ningyu took out the phantom armor and slowly moved toward the core of the array. The distance of 20 meters took Ningyu half an hour to cover. I was right. This essence gathering stone is the core of the essence gathering array. Looking at the 2 fist-sized essence gathering stones in front of him, Ningyu's face turned serious. This was because he realized that the essence chi that was gathered by the essence gathering stone was rising continuously. Its final destination was the stone room where Master Lung was. I have to think of a way to get this pure essence chi. Looking at the essence chi that was disappearing in front of him, Ningyu clenched his fists and took out the Black Dragon pouch. The Black Dragon pouch was a heaven-level lower-grade artifact that Ningyu had obtained from Zhongjin. Although it was slightly damaged, it did not affect its power. Absorb it. As soon as he opened the Black Dragon pouch, a strong suction force gushed out and endless essence chi began to enter the Black Dragon pouch. I'm absorbing 1/10 of the essence chi. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Ningyu concentrated and did not dare to relax at all. The essence gathering array was gathering a lot of essence chi. Although the suction force of the Black Dragon pouch was strong, 90% of the essence chi still rose continuously and entered the stone room where Master Lung was. Swoosh. However, not long after the Black Dragon pouch started to absorb the essence chi, a cold ray of light shot out from Ningyu's body. Then, a terrifying suction force emerged and sucked away all the essence chi around the essence gathering stone. Chapter 148. The sudden change made Ningyu's expression change drastically as he looked towards the source of the cold light. The pendant. Soon, Ningyu discovered the true identity of the cold light. It was none other than the semicircular blue pendant given to him by Ninghai. This pendant has such a strong suction force. Could it be a spatial magical equipment? Ningyu knew that the blue pendant was a magical equipment that could devour souls. But he did not expect the pendant to be able to devour vitality. Moreover, its speed was several times faster than the heaven lower grade Black Dragon pouch. My father told me to hand the pendant to the old man named Wu Xie when I arrive at Danwu College. Frowning slightly, Ningyu muttered, "Fine. I'd like to see if it can devour all the yuan qi gathered by the essence gathering formation." Since the pendant could absorb vitality at an extremely fast speed, Ningyu simply put the Black Dragon pouch into his storage ring and released his soul power to monitor his surroundings closely. The stone chamber where Master Leng was in was the focus of Ningyu's attention. The vitality gathering formation was supposed to send the vitality gathering formation to Master Lung's stone chamber. Now that the pendant had intercepted all the vitality gathering formation, Master Lung would not let it go easily. Therefore, Ningyu dared not be careless. If there was any movement, he would immediately retrieve the pendant and quickly enter the stone chamber where Master Lung was, allowing the Dark Emperor to control Master Lung. At the same time, in the stone chamber above Ningyu, Master Lung sat on a circular altar. With a thought, a spiritual lotus seed appeared in his hand. Looking at the spiritual lotus seed in his hand, Master Lung was overjoyed. He opened his mouth wide and swallowed it. Buzz. As soon as the spiritual lotus seed entered his stomach, Master Lung quickly controlled his soul power to approach it and refined it with all his might. The 7th grade medicinal herb, the spiritual lotus seed, was a sacred medicine that could recover one's soul force. Although it was much weaker than the crystal jade pill, 3 spiritual lotus seeds were enough to heal the damage to Master Lung's soul. 15 minutes later, Master Lung's eyes slightly narrowed as he slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Advanced Grade 5. A single spiritual lotus seed has already restored my soul force to the advanced Grade 5. The remaining 2 spiritual lotus seeds and many other soul force recovery herbs will definitely be able to restore my soul force to the advanced Grade 5. Subsequently, Master Lung swallowed the remaining 2 spiritual lotus seeds. Master Lung revealed a painful expression after swallowing the 2 spiritual lotus seeds. Pure Yuan Qi. However, Master Lung suddenly slammed his palm on the altar beneath him, causing a pillar of primal qi to appear and enter his body. As the majestic vital energy entered his body, Master Lung did not dare to be negligent. He quickly circulated his spell and controlled the vital energy to envelop the spiritual lotus seed. Refine. The sudden increase in vital energy in his body gave Master Lung great confidence. He gathered all of his Grade 5 soul force around the spiritual lotus seed and pressed it down hard. With the combination of his advanced Grade 5 soul force and the majestic vital energy, the 2 spiritual lotus seeds were refined in no time. The medicinal efficacy of the refined spiritual lotus seeds slowly circulated around Master Lung's body and eventually intertwined with his soul force. Pinnacle Grade 5. Early Grade 6. In just a few minutes, Master Lung had restored his soul force to the early Grade 6. After that, Master Lung did not continue to restore his soul force. Instead, he circulated his spell and began to absorb the pure vital energy in the altar. Now that my soul force has recovered to the advanced Grade 6, I can finally absorb the vital energy in the altar without any scruples. Master Lung smirked as his eyes were filled with passion. Due to the severe damage to his soul force, Master Lung's strength had dropped to the early grade true martial realm. The vital energy in his sea of consciousness was lacking. Now that his soul force had recovered a little, he could not wait to restore his strength. Whoosh! The vital energy in the altar was accumulated by the vitality gathering array over a long period of time, so there was a lot of it. Although Master Lung was absorbing the vital energy with all his might, the rate of the vital energy reduction was still not obvious. Pinnacle grade early grade true martial realm, intermediate grade true martial realm, peak grade middle grade true martial realm. An hour later, Master Lung's cultivation base had recovered to the peak grade middle grade true martial realm. He was only a step away from the advanced grade true martial realm. Absorb it. Master Lung let out a low grunt and released all his soul force to absorb the vital energy in the altar crazily. Crack. After another 15 minutes, when Master Lung's cultivation base was about to recover to the advanced grade true martial realm, the altar suddenly let out a cracking sound. What's going on? Master Lung retracted his soul force and looked at the altar below him. Master Lung's mouth was slightly agape and his eyes were wide open. Disbelief was written all over his face. This was because he discovered 2 things that he could not accept. Firstly, there were fine cracks around the altar, and the cracks were constantly expanding. Secondly, the vital energy in the altar had disappeared as if it had seen a ghost. Oh no! There must be something wrong with the vitality gathering array. Master Lung was not stupid. He immediately thought of the vitality gathering array. The vital energy gathered by the vitality gathering array was all stored in the altar. Now that the vital energy in the altar had disappeared, it was highly likely that there was something wrong with the vitality gathering array. With that thought in mind, Master Lung extended his soul force and went underground along the altar. Oh no! As soon as Master Lung's soul force entered the altar, Ningyu realized that something was wrong. In a flash, he grabbed the pendant in his hand and threw it into his storage ring. Full speed ahead. With his soul force attached to the phantom armor, Ningyu unleashed his speed to the maximum. Before Master Lung could react, he had already entered the stone room that he was in. Who's there? The sudden change made Master Lung's pupils shrink, and he quickly retracted his soul force back into his body. Looking at the skinny figure standing in front of him, Master Lung scolded, How dare you barge into my room, early grade 6 soul force? Ning Yu did not answer Master Lung's question. Instead, he stared at him and said with a frown, I didn't expect your soul force to have recovered to the early grade 6. You're courting death. Master Lung did not expect Ning Yu to be so arrogant and not take him seriously at all. With a low grunt, Master Lung rose from the ground, and the true martial realm's vital energy in his sea of consciousness surged out and wrapped around his fist. He then threw a punch at Ning Yu. TSK. Master Lung's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he appeared in front of Ning Yu and used his fist that contained violent vital energy to smash at Ning Yu's head. Facing such a fierce attack from Master Leng, Ning Yu stood at the same spot. There was no panic in his eyes at all. Instead, the corner of his lips curled up into an evil smile. You can still smile when you're about to die. I'm really impressed. Master Lung was even more furious when he saw Ning Yu's reaction. However, before he could finish his sentence, his pupils shrank and his body retreated backward. Master Lung only managed to stabilize himself after he retreated to the edge of the stone room. Chapter 149. When Master Leng finished speaking, the Dark Emperor raised his brows and asked coldly, How did you know my identity? Me. Of course I know your identity. Master Lung harumphed and said, because the aura coming from your body is exactly the same as the giant skeleton in the treasure pavilion. You're courting death. The Dark Emperor roared and flapped the purplish golden wings on his back. He charged toward Master Lung like a sharp sword. Shit. Master Leng's expression changed slightly as he retreated again. Swoosh. Right at this moment, the Dark Emperor had already arrived in front of him, and a pair of sharp claws fiercely swept towards his face. A crisp sound was heard as Master Lung fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. A bloody scar appeared on his face, making him look extremely hideous. Dark golden spirit corpse. Master Lung could not be bothered to wipe the blood off his face. He waved his sleeve and a cold gleam shot out. Bang! As soon as the cold gleam shot out, it clashed with the Dark Emperor. After the collision, the Dark Emperor felt a pain in his chest. He flapped the wings on his back and retreated to Ning Yu's side. As for Master Leng, he landed beside the dark golden corpse and yelled, Trespassers shall die. Half-step primal core realm corpse. The powerful aura coming from the dark golden corpse caused Ning Yu's expression to turn extremely solemn. He held the soul-severing sword in his hand and said, I should have thought of this. It's impossible for there to be no powerhouses guarding the Yuan gathering formation that was set up with 10 Yuan gathering stones. Ning Yu, step back. I'll deal with this corpse. At that moment, the Dark Emperor restrained himself a little and said solemnly, As for you, just hold that old fart back. Be careful. Ning Yu was not an indecisive person. He leaped up and shot out several sword rays at Master Lung. Moving its cumbersome body, the dark gold corpse took a step forward. Immediately, an extremely violent fluctuation of Yuan Qi blocked Ning Yu's path. Facing the dark golden corpse's powerful attack, Ning Yu hurriedly circulated the transformation spirit art. At the same time, the essence Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out, trying to resist. However, just as the essence Qi in his sea of consciousness surged out, the Dark Emperor transformed into an afterimage and arrived in front of the dark golden corpse. Your opponent is me. Roar. With a furious roar, the Dark Emperor's body suddenly grew several times larger. He opened his mouth and let out a heart-shaking roar, instantly shattering the dark golden corpse's Yuan Qi. Phantom armor. Seeing that the Dark Emperor had blocked the fatal attack for him, a cold light flashed in Ning Yu's eyes, and the phantom armor appeared on the surface of his body. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In the next second, Ning Yu turned into an illusory afterimage and appeared next to Master Leng in an instant. With a violent fluctuation of Yuan Qi and soul pressure, his palm was aimed at Master Leng's head. It's a soul attack palm print. The moment the Netherworld Fiend attacked, Master Leng realized it was a soul attack palm print. However, Master Leng did not take it to heart. After all, Ning Yu's soul power was only at the middle stage of grade 4, while his was at the early stage of grade 6. The difference between them was immeasurable. Therefore, the corner of Master Lung's lips curled up as he unleashed his soul force to suppress Ningyu's palm print. TSK. When Master Lung's grade 6 soul power collided with the Netherworld Fiend, he instantly expelled Ningyu's soul power from the palm print and took over the control of the palm print. TSK. Brat, I'll return your palm print to you. With a weird laugh, Master Lung pushed with his backhand. Suddenly, the Netherworld Fiend changed its direction and attacked Ningyu's head. Damn it. Master Lung's soul power is much stronger than mine. Cursing, Ningyu quickly swung the soul-breaking sword. In an instant, a shocking sword ray was unleashed and collided with the Netherworld Fiend's palm print. TSK. When the shocking sword ray and the palm print collided, a sizzling sound was heard and the shockwave spread in all directions. Brat, it's not a loss for you to die in my hands. With a smile, Master Lung stomped on the ground and dashed out in the blink of an eye. A fist brought with it an extremely violent Yuan Qi gale. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of Ningyu and smashed down. Wind, thunder, and fire. At the crucial moment, the wind, thunder, and fire in Ningyu's divine sense surged out and gathered on his right hand. Go. As the low roar sounded out, a palm print that was almost solid instantly blasted out. Purple flames danced on the palm print. Boom. The palm print dissipated almost as soon as it collided with Master Lung's fist. However, the instant the palm print was destroyed, the purple flames turned into purple light spots and attacked Master Lung from all directions. Wind, thunder, and fire. Not bad. Not bad at all. It just so happens that I'm lacking a suitable flame for refining pills. I'll make do with this. Looking at the purple light spots in the air, Master Lung smirked. Then, his 6th grade soul power surged out of his body and surrounded the purple light spots, preventing them from moving. If this old fart's soul power wasn't so much stronger than mine, it wouldn't be difficult for me to defeat him. Sensing that he was about to lose contact with the wind, thunder, and fire, Ningyu's eyes turned solemn. As he turned around to look at the Dark Emperor's battle, Ningyu's eyes were filled with worry. This was because the Dark Emperor was only on par with the Dark Golden Corpse. He did not have the upper hand. Capture the Dark Golden Corpse alive. While controlling the wind, thunder, and fire, Master Lung shouted at the Dark Golden Corpse, "That puppy is a sky-devouring hound. If you can send it to the sect's higher-ups, you might be able to advance." Ming. By. As soon as Master Lung finished his sentence, a clumsy voice came out of the Dark Golden Corpse's mouth. What? Ningyu's eyes narrowed as he looked at the Dark Golden Corpse that was fighting with the Dark Emperor in disbelief. The Dark Golden Corpse was just a corpse. How could it speak? Could it be that it had developed its own consciousness? At the thought of this, Ningyu's eyes turned gloomy, and a sense of helplessness rose in his heart. The Dark Golden Corpse's body was already very tough, and it was powerful enough to be on par with the Dark Emperor. Once it developed its own consciousness, the Dark Emperor would definitely lose if the battle dragged on. After all, the Dark Golden Corpse was a tireless warrior. No, it didn't develop its own consciousness. It's only in a semi-conscious state. Ningyu's eyes narrowed as he looked at the Dark Golden Corpse's clumsy footsteps. The worry in his heart lessened a little. The Dark Golden Corpse's current state did not look like it had developed its own consciousness. It was only in a semi-conscious state. However, a semi-conscious Dark Golden Corpse was enough to give Ningyu and the Dark Emperor a hard time. No, I have to leave this stone chamber. Since the Dark Golden Corpse was powerful, Ningyu made up his mind to leave the stone chamber with the Dark Emperor immediately. Chapter 150. Let's go. The Dark Emperor was not an indecisive dog. As soon as Ningyu spoke, his figure flashed and turned into an afterimage as he entered the storage ring. Swoosh. Seeing that the Dark Emperor had entered the storage ring, Ningyu immediately wrapped his soul energy around the illusory armor and leaped into the ground. As he had come to the stone chamber from underground, Ningyu was very familiar with the situation underground. He was confident that as long as he could enter the ground, he could escape with the agility of the illusory armor. Trying to escape? Not so easy. However, Before Ningyu could go underground, Master Leng, who was standing next to him, smirked and quickly formed a seal with his hands. Ground killing formation, rise. As Master Leng performed the last hand seal, the entire stone chamber began to shake. Following that, the surrounding walls began to cave in and countless high-grade origin crystals appeared. After these high-grade origin crystals appeared, they did not stay on the spot. Instead, they turned into rays of cold light and landed at every corner of the stone chamber. Crack, crack. In the next moment, all the high-grade origin crystals in the stone chamber shattered. Strands of origin chi gathered and formed a dense origin chi net. Dark golden spiritual corpse, guard the formation eye, Master Leng shouted as he retreated to the other side of the stone chamber. Roar. The dark golden spiritual corpse roared and leaped into the sky. It landed in the middle of the ground killing formation, which was where the formation eye was. Brat, hand over that puppy, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Looking at Ningyu, Master Leng said with a sinister smile, otherwise, I'll let you have a taste of being skinned alive. With the dark golden spiritual corpse guarding the formation eye, it's very difficult to break the ground killing formation. At this moment, Ningyu's expression was solemn as he stared at the dark golden spiritual corpse in the ground killing formation. His heart sank to the bottom. He had some understanding of the ground killing formation. It was many times stronger than the 10 killing formation. There was only one way to break the killing earth formation, and that was to blast open the formation eye with lightning speed. But now, the dark gold spirit corpse was guarding the formation core. Unless one had the strength of a Yuan Dan stage, otherwise, it would be very difficult to blast open the formation core. Whoosh! The Dark Emperor, who was trapped in the baleful earth formation, also flew out from his storage ring. Ningyu, transfer all of your essence to me later. I'll see if I can destroy the formation core, the Dark Emperor said softly after taking a deep breath. Dark Emperor, how confident are you? Ningyu asked. Less than 10%, the Dark Emperor replied with a shake of his head, but I'll have to give it a try to find out. Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, it's time to see your performance. Seeing that Ningyu was stubborn, Master Leng's face turned cold as he spoke in a deep voice. Huala. As soon as Master Leng's voice fell, the dark golden spirit corpse waved its arms. 2 streams of primordial chi in the earth-killing array were fanned and attacked Ningyu. Devour. In a flash, the Dark Emperor arrived before Ningyu. He opened his mouth and a powerful suction force was emitted, swallowing the 2 primordial chi waves. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. However, as soon as the Dark Emperor swallowed the 2 primordial chi waves, another 4 primordial chi waves appeared and shot toward him at a shocking speed. Devour, 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 devour. The Dark Emperor stomped on the ground and stood up. His body trembled and grew several times bigger. It opened its mouth again, and 4 suction forces sucked the 4 yuan chi waves into its stomach. Ningyu, transfer the primordial chi to me now. After swallowing the 4 primordial chi waves, the Dark Emperor quickly turned around and shouted at Ningyu, also, give me all the high-grade primordial crystals you have. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu did not dare to delay. The primordial chi in his sea of consciousness surged out and entered the Dark Emperor's body. Furthermore, there were more than 600,000 high-grade primordial crystals left in his storage bag and he tossed them to the Dark Emperor. Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, stop him. Master Leng's expression changed slightly when he saw Ningyu and the Dark Emperor's actions and shouted. Perhaps sensing the Dark Emperor's gradually increasing aura, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse left the formation core and leaped onto the Dark Emperor's back. Damn it! Damn it! How dare you ride the great Dark Emperor? Ever since he was born, when had the Dark Emperor suffered like this? Not only was he trapped in the earth-killing formation, but he was also ridden by a corpse. What an uncle could tolerate, but an aunt could not. Get down. The purplish golden wings on his back flapped rapidly. The Dark Emperor could not be bothered to destroy the formation core. Instead, he injected all the primordial chi that Ningyu transferred to him into the purplish golden wings. Instantly, his speed increased by a few times as he tried to shake the dark golden spirit corpse off. However, The dark golden spirit corpse's arms were like pincers that clung onto the Dark Emperor's neck. No matter how the Dark Emperor moved, the dark golden spirit corpse did not budge at all. That's right. I have to break the earth-killing formation. Although the Dark Emperor was currently angry, no matter what, he had restrained the strongest dark gold spirit corpse. Ningyu knew that he could only rely on himself to break the earth-killing formation now. Teish Kenpo. The remaining primordial chi in his consciousness surged out and gathered on the soul-breaking sword. At that moment, Ningyu used his trump card, Teish Kenpo. Heaven-grade flying sword? Master Lung's eyes were wide open when he saw the soul-breaking sword in Ningyu's hand. Not bad. This heaven-grade flying sword is not bad. It's mine now. Master Lung leaped and ignored the Teish Kenpo completely. He grabbed the soul-breaking sword with both hands. Suppress my soul power. To prevent any unforeseen circumstances, Master Leng released his grade 6 soul power. Half of it was aimed at Ningyu's head while the other half entered the soul-breaking sword in an attempt to control it. This is my chance. Not only did the sudden change not cause Ningyu to panic, but it also caused him to be overjoyed. That was because the soul-breaking sword was not only a heaven-grade flying sword, but it was also a heaven-grade devouring flying sword. Devour it. He controlled the soul-breaking sword with his soul power. Instead of retreating, it advanced and slashed at Master Lung's soul power. Brat, are you dumb? Why did you send yourself to me? Master Lung was confused by Ningyu's action. However, that was all. It would be a waste to reject a heaven-grade flying sword that was sent to him. Pust. However, when his soul power came into contact with the soul-breaking sword, Master Lung's face turned ghastly as if he had eaten tea. This was because he realized that his soul power seemed to have entered a bottomless pit after entering the soul-breaking sword. Most importantly, he was about to lose contact with half of his soul power that entered the soul-breaking sword. Oh no, it's a devouring flying sword. Soul power, come back. Master Lung was a grade 6 elixir master after all. Soon, he thought of a terrifying possibility. The soul-breaking sword was not an ordinary heaven-grade flying sword. It was a genuine heaven-grade devouring flying sword. Don't you think it's a little too late to realize it now? At that moment, Ningyu controlled the soul-breaking sword to release a strong suction force. Before Master Lung could retract his soul power, it was swallowed into the soul-breaking sword. Soul-breaking sword, come back. Chapter 151. Kid, do you think you can control my soul power just because you have the devouring flying sword? You're too naive. Master Lung only panicked for a short while when half of his soul power was devoured by the soul-breaking sword. He scoffed and controlled the other half of his soul power to suppress Ningyu. Even though I've lost half of my soul power is still a few times stronger than yours. After all, Master Lung's soul power had reached the early stage of grade 6. Even though he had lost half of his soul power was still stronger than Ningyu's. Master Lung knew that very well, so he did not panic for long. He controlled the remaining soul power to attack Ningyu's head. To him, as long as he could control Ningyu, he could retrieve half of the soul power in the soul-breaking sword. Trying to control me? It's not that easy. At that moment, Ningyu was very calm. He was terrifyingly calm. He reached into his pocket and took out a semicircular pendant. Blue pendant. Master Lung was slightly stunned when he saw the pendant in Ningyu's hand. His heart skipped a beat. Is this a devouring Dharma treasure too? As he was frightened by Ningyu, Master Lung thought everything he saw was a devouring Dharma treasure. Soul power, come back. Before he could confirm if the pendant was a devouring Dharma treasure, Master Lung quickly retrieved the remaining half of his soul power. Swoosh. However, he was obviously half a beat slower. Ningyu threw the pendant out with all his strength. The pendant turned into an afterimage and collided with Master Lung's soul power. Master Lung did not expect Ningyu to do that. His brain short-circuited for 0.1 seconds. However, it was this 0.1 second that caused Master Lung to completely lose contact with the remaining half of his soul power. Kai. A crisp sound was heard in the stone chamber. Master Lung stood rooted to the ground with disbelief written all over his face. At that moment, the remaining half of his soul power was devoured by the semicircular pendant. Swoosh! Then, Ningyu leaped into the air and grabbed the pendant before tossing it into his storage ring. Netherworld Samsara Palm, Netherworld Fiend. In the next instant, Ningyu performed a hand seal with his wrist, forming a solid palm print that slammed toward Master Lung's head at a shocking speed. Not good. After all, Master Lung was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. Even if he had lost his soul force, his reaction was not slow. Just when the palm print was about to hit his head, his body slightly dodged to the side. However, his head wasn't hit by the Nether Fiend palm print, but his chest was hit. A muffled sound was heard as Master Lung's body fell backward and slammed into the stone wall. Poochie. The force that came from his chest caused Master Lung to vomit a mouthful of blood as his face turned pale. Die. Ningyu did not stop there. He went up to Master Lung and punched him in the chest with his iron-like fists. Bang! 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 Ningyu's heavy fists landed on Master Lung's chest until he was no longer breathing. After killing Master Lung, Ningyu felt extremely weak. He sat on the ground and panted heavily. There was not a single bit of primordial chi in his divine sense. Otherwise, he would not have killed Master Lung with brute force. Not long after Master Lung was killed, the entire stone chamber began to shake faster and faster. In the end, he could not even stand properly. Buzz! Buzz! Just when Ningyu was trying his best to stand up, a buzzing sound was heard. Then, the earth-killing formation was broken without any warning. After the earth-killing formation was broken, the stone chamber stopped shaking and everything returned to normal. The sudden change stunned Ningyu. He did not expect the earth-killing formation to be broken after killing Master Lung. If he knew this would happen, the Dark Emperor would not have bothered with the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. He could have just thought of a way to kill Master Lung. Dark Emperor, don't get entangled with the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. The ground terminating array has already been broken. Think of a way to leave this place. Ningyu did not waste any time and said to the Dark Emperor, who was fighting the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. Ningyu, I can feel the energy in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse slowly diminishing. Now is the best time to subdue it. We can't miss this opportunity, the Dark Emperor shouted. Hearing that, Ningyu was stunned at first. Then, he released his soul power and carefully approached the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. However, Ningyu was overjoyed when he saw Duan Ling Tian. This was because he could see that the energy in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse was diminishing every second. Moreover, the rate of diminishing was gradually increasing. Subduing a half-step origin core realm Dark Golden Spirit Corpse. Just thinking about it made Ningyu's blood boil. The Dark Emperor's strength was at the true martial realm great perfection. He was still a step away from the half-step origin core realm. If they could control the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, it would mean that their strength had increased by several fold. Dark Emperor, be careful. Although the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's strength was gradually weakening, they could not be careless. Ningyu reminded. Waving his hand, the Dark Emperor said, Ningyu, step back a little. The Dark Golden Spirit Corpse is like a grasshopper after autumn. It won't last long. Report. While the Dark Emperor and the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse were fighting, in a dark hall in the Great Xia Kingdom, a man knelt on one knee and said loudly, Hall Master, Master Lung's soul tablet has shattered. What? A middle-aged man sat at the end of the hall. Hearing that, he suddenly stood up and instantly exploded with a shocking aura. The man who reported the news couldn't take it anymore. He knelt on the ground and couldn't raise his head. With a crack, the middle-aged man shattered the chair he was sitting on. In the next moment, the aura disappeared, and the middle-aged man returned to his previous state. You may leave. Don't let anyone else know about this, the middle-aged man said softly. The man who reported the news left the hall in a hurry and escaped. He didn't want to stay in the hall for a second longer. Double-faced man, help me with something, the middle-aged man said to the void. As soon as he finished speaking, a figure appeared in the hall. Half of the figure was wrapped in black chi and the other half in white light. It was impossible to see the figure's face. Make a trip to the essence-gathering cave and retrieve the essence-gathering stone. The middle-aged man said indifferently. Also, investigate the cause of Master Lung's death. If he was killed by someone, bring that person here. Understood. The double-faced man nodded. After his hoarse voice sounded, his figure gradually merged with the space and disappeared. The essence-gathering cave is filled with traps and arrays. Who could reach Master Lung's room without triggering the array? After the double-faced man left, the middle-aged man frowned and mumbled, "The room that Master Lung was in has the earth-killing array and the dark golden spirit corpse. It seems like the person who killed Master Lung is at least at the primordial core realm and has a special method to avoid the array." Chapter 152. The bottom of the stone chamber was where the energy-gathering formation's core was. Countless amounts of energy were gathering towards the stone chamber. Now that the earth-killing formation was broken, Ningyu summoned the phantom armor and burrowed into the ground after recovering some of his energy. Ningyu circulated the spirit transformation technique and absorbed the pure energy to replenish the energy in his sea of consciousness. As for the Dark Emperor, he was having a great time fighting with the dark golden spirit corpse. Both sides were exchanging blows. However, as time passed, the Dark Emperor gradually gained the upper hand and suppressed the dark golden spirit corpse. Roughly 15 minutes later, the Dark Emperor found an opportunity and whipped the dark golden spirit corpse with his tail. The enormous force caused the dark gold spirit corpse's body to sway in the air before falling to the ground, unable to get up. Phew. After defeating the dark golden spirit corpse, the Dark Emperor heaved a sigh of relief. The stone in his heart was finally lifted. "Ningyu, hurry up and come out. Put the dark golden spirit corpse into the storage ring," the Dark Emperor shouted. Swoosh. Ningyu was paying attention to the situation in the stone chamber. The instant the dark golden spirit corpse was defeated, he appeared in the stone chamber with a flash. After wrapping a wisp of his soul force around the dark golden spirit corpse, Ningyu put it into the storage ring. "Ningyu, we shouldn't stay here for long. Let's leave as soon as possible." Seeing Ningyu put the dark golden spirit corpse into the storage ring, the Dark Emperor said solemnly, "Understood. But before we leave, we still have one thing to do." Waving his hand, Ningyu came to the altar and put a storage pouch into the storage ring. Then, Ningyu said, "Dark Emperor, you enter the storage ring as well. We'll leave underground." Swoosh. The Dark Emperor didn't hesitate and leaped into the storage ring. Then, the phantom armor appeared around Ningyu's body. He stepped on the ground and drilled into the ground again. Whoosh. Underground, Ningyu did not leave immediately. Instead, he carefully put away the 10 primordial gathering stones. Yuan gathering stones were incomparably precious, even rarer than ordinary 6th-grade medicinal herbs. Ningyu naturally could not miss out on such a treasure. Luckily, I knew how to set up an energy-gathering formation in my previous life. Otherwise, the moment I removed the energy-gathering stone, the energy-gathering formation would immediately collapse. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu raised his speed to the limit and flew into the distance. Although the essence-gathering formation wouldn't collapse immediately, it wouldn't last long. Rumble. Not long after Ningyu left, the ground where the Yuan gathering formation was located collapsed with a loud rumble. What happened? Why did the cave collapse? Quickly inform Master Lung. Yes. Quickly inform Master Leng and Master Mu Tuor. As the Yuan gathering formation lost the support of the Yuan gathering stones, it quickly collapsed. Affected by the collapse of the Yuan gathering formation, the ground under the cave caved in. The faces of the corpse guards in the cave changed drastically when they saw the cave caved in. They panicked and immediately ran toward the stone chamber where Master Lung was at. Their duty was to protect Master Lung. If anything were to happen to Master Lung, they would not be able to bear the consequences. Bang! A dull thud was heard as the stone chamber's door was blasted open. Oh no, Master Lung has been killed. What? Quickly seal the cave. We must find the person who killed Master Lung. Whoosh. Not long after the cave caved in, Mu Tuor led a large group of people and appeared in front of the cave. Mu Tuor's expression turned extremely unpleasant as he looked at the collapsed cave and the dozens of corpse guards standing in front of it. However, when he saw the familiar figure in the middle of the corpse guards, his face instantly turned as pale as a pig's liver. Who killed Master Lung? Mu Tuor quickly came to Master Lung's side and clenched his fists. He scolded in a deep voice, "What the hell are you guys doing? Master Lung was killed not long after I left. Mu Tuor, Master Lung's death is a serious matter. We must inform the Hall Master." A man in a black robe next to Mu Tuor said in a deep voice, "Also, I suggest that I lead a team to search this forest. As long as we find any suspicious people, we'll kill them immediately." The man in the black robe who spoke was in his 40s or 50s. He was a powerful late-stage true martial realm cultivator. Obviously, the man in the black robe did not know about the dark golden spirit corpse and the earth-killing formation. Otherwise, he would not have said such arrogant words. "Black Sand King, please." Now that things had come to this, it had completely exceeded Mu Tuor's expectations. He could only pray that the Black Sand King could find the person who killed Master Lung. Buzz. However, before the Black Sand King could move, the surrounding space wriggled. Then, a man in white appeared. Looking at the man in white who had suddenly appeared, the surrounding martial artists, including Mu Tuor, stood on the spot respectfully. They did not even dare to breathe loudly. Looking at Master Leng, who had been beaten beyond recognition, the man in white frowned and mumbled, "He was killed by brute force." Judging from the strength of the fist, the person who attacked should be at the late-stage Carnate realm. The earth-killing formation has been broken, and the dark golden spirit corpse is nowhere to be found. Looks like this was a premeditated murder. After thinking about it, the man in white moved and burrowed into the ground in the blink of an eye. Whoosh. In just a short while, the man in white leaped out from the ground. As I expected, the Yuan gathering stone has been taken away. With a slightly gloomy expression, the man in white took out a crystal ball and placed it on Master Lung's body. 3 seconds later, the man in white put the crystal ball away. He closed his eyes and stood on the spot for a while. Then, the man in white turned into an afterimage and chased after Master Lung in the east. 10 minutes after the man in white disappeared, Mu Tuor and the rest finally heaved a sigh of relief. Mu Tuor, what did he mean? Pointing to the east, the Black Sand King asked in a low voice, "What should we do now?" After thinking about it, Mu Tuor said, "Mobilize all the forces that can be mobilized and secretly investigate any suspicious characters that have appeared within a 100-mile radius recently. I want to know all the movements of martial artists who have reached the true martial realm in the past month. Also, in the end," Mu Tuor added, "find a person called Ningyu and bring him back to see me." Ningyu? The Black Sand King was stunned and asked doubtfully, "Is he a true martial realm martial artist?" "He's not a true martial realm martial artist. He's an alchemist," Mu Tuor said in a low voice. "Got it. Let's go." The Black Sand King nodded and waved his hand. The surrounding martial artists immediately dispersed and flew in all directions. Russell. Ningyu and the Dark Emperor had no idea what was happening in the cave. After collecting the 10 Yuan gathering stones, Ningyu kept flying underground until the primordial qi in his sea of consciousness was depleted. Only then did he emerge from the ground and come to the surface. As the primordial qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness was depleted, the Dark Emperor grew slightly larger and carried Ningyu through the forest. They did not choose to rest in the city immediately. After all, they were afraid of encountering danger before they left the cave. Chapter 153. Ivory City was a huge city under the Great Xia Kingdom. The strength of Ivory City was several times that of Wisdom Monarch City, and they had an overwhelming advantage in terms of the number of experts. It could be said that compared to Ivory City, places like Wisdom Monarch City and Tianqian City could only be considered as small cities. After concealing his aura and suppressing it to Xiantian primary stage, Ningyu brought the Dark Emperor into Ivory City. Third-order demonic beasts inner core. Cheap. Don't miss out on this opportunity. I just caught a third-order bird's young, and I'm selling it at a discounted price. I'll buy this withered leaf flower for 50 high-grade origin crystals. As soon as Ning Yu entered Ivory City, he heard the sounds of hawking. I didn't expect Ivory City to be so prosperous that even third-order demonic beasts' inner cores are being sold on the streets. Ning Yu was shocked. After all, third-order demonic beasts' inner cores were precious treasures in Tianqian City. Who would have thought that they were as common as cabbages in Ivory City? That's nothing. It's just a third-order demonic beast's inner core. I'll get you as many as you want, the Dark Emperor said disdainfully. Don't talk so much. It won't be good if someone recognizes you, Ning Yu said helplessly. Before entering Ivory City, Ning Yu had tried to persuade the Dark Emperor to enter his storage ring so that no one would recognize him. However, the Dark Emperor refused to listen and insisted on walking on the streets. Fortunately, Ivory City was quite prosperous, and a talking dog didn't attract too much attention. Everyone just thought that the Dark Emperor was Ning Yu's pet. Don't worry. I know what I'm doing, the Dark Emperor said with a shrug. The Dark Emperor wasn't stupid. Even though he was walking on the streets, he kept his senses sharp. As long as an expert appeared, he would enter his storage ring immediately. I really don't know what to do with you. Ignoring the Dark Emperor, Ning Yu walked on quickly. Not long after, he stopped in front of an inn called Pleasant Arrival Inn. The Pleasant Arrival Inn was the best inn in Ivory City. The price of the rooms was extremely expensive. Even 50 upper-grade essence crystals were not enough to enter a first-class room. One could only enter a second-class room. Hiss. At first, Ning Yu was complaining that the room was too expensive, but when he entered the room, he immediately changed his mind. There was a small array formation in the room. A steady stream of essence gathered on the bed. Compared to the outside, the density of the essence in the room was much higher. Setting up this yuan qi gathering formation will probably consume 30 high-grade yuan crystals a day. Ning Yu felt a little emotional. Sure enough, you get what you pay for. The poor live in a low-class room, while the rich live in a luxurious one. After kicking the Dark Emperor off the bed, Ning Yu leaped up and sat on the bed. How stingy. He rolled his eyes at Ning Yu before disappearing into his storage ring. Don't call me if there's nothing important. Whoosh. After sitting down with his legs crossed, Ning Yu shook his wrist, and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. The soul-severing sword was a devouring flying sword. It had devoured half of Master Lung's soul power. Now, the majestic soul power in the sword even had the urge to leak out. Fortunately, Ning Yu had already engraved a soul imprint in the soul-severing sword. Otherwise, the soul-severing sword would definitely leave his hand. With so much pure soul power, my soul strength can at least reach peak grade 4 after refining it. I can even try to break through to grade 5. Feeling the dense and pure soul power in the soul-severing sword, Ning Yu's eyes were burning with passion. He quickly controlled the soul-severing sword and forced the pure soul power out of the sword. Absorb it. As soon as the pure soul power was forced out, Ning Yu opened his mouth and swallowed a part of it into his stomach. Then, he activated the spiritual transformation technique and began to refine it slowly. If the soul power still had its own consciousness, Ning Yu would definitely not dare to refine it so openly. However, the devouring flying sword had already erased Master Lung's consciousness from the soul power. Therefore, Ning Yu could refine it without any scruples. Buzz. 2 hours later, Ning Yu suddenly opened his eyes. A hint of joy emerged in his eyes. Peak grade 4. Ning Yu did not expect it to be so smooth. He had only refined a part of the pure soul power, and his soul power had already increased to the peak grade 4. At this rate, if he refined all of it, his soul power would definitely increase to peak grade 4. Swoosh. However, just when Ning Yu wanted to swallow the soul power again, a cold gleam rushed out of the storage ring. Looking at the cold gleam that suddenly rushed out, Ning Yu first opened his mouth slightly, then he cursed. F***CK, the semicircle pendant. Are you going to intercept me again? Whoosh. Ignoring Ning Yu's scolding, a strong suction force came from the pendant and instantly swallowed the remaining soul power into its body. Swoosh. Then, the semicircle pendant turned into a cold gleam again and entered the storage ring. The sudden change made Ning Yu a little dumbfounded. He wanted to scold someone, but he could only admit defeat. Forget it, I won't lower myself to your level. Who asked you to be entrusted to me by my father? Ningyu sighed helplessly. The strength of a peak grade 4 soul power was already very good. At least he could cultivate the fourth palm of the netherworld samsara palm. After adjusting his mental state to the best, Ningyu recalled the method of the fourth palm of the netherworld samsara palm in his mind. The fourth palm of the netherworld samsara palm, Dark Tyrant. The requirement for the strength of the soul power was extremely strict. Without reaching the peak grade 4 soul power, it was basically impossible to successfully cultivate it. This was also the reason why Ningyu only started cultivating it now. Half of the peak grade 4 soul power in his body flowed out and gathered in his palm. Then, Ningyu made a strange hand seal and suddenly pushed it out. Suddenly, a solid palm seal appeared and blasted toward the void. Pa. The moment the palm print came into contact with the void, it dissipated. Why is the power so low? After the palm seal dissipated, Ningyu frowned in doubt. Logically speaking, the power of the fourth palm of the netherworld samsara palm shouldn't be so weak. Pa. While Ningyu was puzzled, another 8 muffled sounds came out and immediately, 8 illusory palm seals appeared in the room. After these palm seals were formed, they suddenly exploded and the aftermath spread out in all directions. What's going on? Have the people from the corpse sect caught up? The explosion of the palm seals caused the Dark Emperor to rush out from the storage ring. The hair on his body stood on end as he screamed, "Ningyu, quickly retreat." Seeing the Dark Emperor's expression as if he was facing a great enemy, Ningyu smiled and blasted out another palm strike. It collided with the previous palm strike, and the aftermath instantly dissipated. Dark Emperor, you're not from the corpse sect. It's a spell that I cultivate. Ningyu waved his hand and smiled. A type of spell that you're practicing? Hearing this, the Dark Emperor was clearly stunned, and he said in disbelief, "When did you become so powerful?" The Dark Emperor knew very well that the power of the palm just now could at least contend against a peak stage true martial realm cultivator, or even kill them. Crack. However, just when Ningyu was about to speak, a crisp crack was heard. Then, a loud shout entered his ears. Chapter 154. The Innate Battle Ranking. The Innate Battle Ranking is out again. In the room, Ningyu frowned and murmured, "I wonder what rank I will be on the Innate Battle Ranking this time." In the previous Innate Battle Ranking, Ningyu was only ranked 1000th. Of course, Ningyu did not kill Lin Jingtian last time, so it was already good enough that he was ranked 1000th. And this issue of the Xiantian Battle Rankings would be released after he killed Lin Jingtian. In other words, he would most likely enter the top 100 on the Xiantian Battle Rankings. Innate Battle Ranking? What nonsense are you talking about? Ningyu, I am asking you a question. How did you become so powerful? The Dark Emperor did not care about the Innate Battle Ranking and asked impatiently. Dark Emperor, I have always been powerful. You just didn't realize it. Shrugging, Ningyu walked out of the room. Ningyu, wait for me. Seeing Ningyu leaving, the Dark Emperor stomped his feet and followed closely behind Ningyu. Pa. In the main hall of the Yu Lai Inn. A muffled sound could be heard. Then, 2 figures separated and stood on opposite sides of the hall. Zhong Hu, ranked 100th on the Innate Battle Ranking. Yang Yu, ranked 101st on the Innate Battle Ranking. Their strength should be about the same. Why is Zhong Hu ranked higher than Yang Yu? Who knows? The Innate Battle Ranking has its own reasons. I am afraid Zhong Hu is slightly stronger. Hehe, this is going to be a good show. Zhong Hu is the young master of the Zhong clan, and Yang Yu is the son of the city lord. If they fight, it will be very interesting. On the side of the hall near the door, a man in his 20s stood expressionlessly with his fists clasped. Opposite him stood a young man of similar age. However, the young man's expression was very ugly. Especially when he heard the discussions around him, his expression became even uglier. Zhong Hu, no wonder you could enter the top 100 of the Innate Realm battle list. You hid your strength. Yang Yu's face turned pale because he was at a slight disadvantage in the previous exchange. In the past, he had fought with Zhong Hu many times. Without using his trump cards, both of them had victories and defeats. And in this exchange, he could clearly feel that Zhong Hu's strength had increased a lot. He faintly felt that he was no match for Zhong Hu. If the two of them really fought to the death, the one who would lose in the end would most likely be him. However, asking him to stop in front of so many people was something he couldn't do. Yang Yu, I don't have time to waste with you here. You are no match for me, Zhong Hu said calmly. Humph. Don't think that I can't do anything to you just because you are one rank higher than me on the innate realm battle board. With a cold snort, Yang Yu rose from the ground. His body turned into a blur as he charged straight at Zhong Hu. Courting death. With a cold expression, Zhong Hu slightly bent his legs. Soon after, he abruptly exerted his strength and charged towards Yang Yu like a ferocious tiger. Ningyu, can't you wait for me? While Yang Yu and Zhong Hu were fighting, the Dark Emperor on the second floor of the Yu Lion grumbled, "What's there to watch when two innate realm kids fight? Take a closer look." Ever since they came out, Ningyu's eyes were locked onto Zhong Hu with a shocked expression. What am I looking at? A fight between brats, The Dark Emperor curled his lips and turned to look at the two people fighting in the hall. This caused his eyes to narrow and he said in a deep voice, "This Zhong Hu is strange. I feel a familiar aura from him." Ningyu took a deep breath and said, "If I'm not wrong, he should be someone from the corpse sect." The Dark Emperor gritted his teeth and said, "We can wear out iron shoes in fruitless search, only to find it by chance. Since we've met here, let's collect some interest first." Ever since he fought with the corpse sect's left protector in the Pill Dragon Valley, the Dark Emperor had a deep hatred for the corpse sect. As long as he saw someone from the corpse sect, he would be the first to kill them. Of course, the prerequisite was that he was stronger than the other party. Don't worry, this Zhong Hu is not simple. He's ranked 100th on the innate realm battle list, which means he has some strength. Ningyu held the Dark Emperor down and said, "A cultivator with this level of talent can be considered an absolute genius even in the corpse sect. If we kill him rashly, we might attract the experts of the corpse sect. If they find out that we killed Master Leng, the consequences will be unimaginable." Ningyu, aren't you being too afraid? The Dark Emperor was clearly unhappy. He's just a peak innate realm cultivator. With my strength, killing him is a piece of cake. Although that was what he said, the Dark Emperor still stood beside Ningyu and did not make a move. Dark Emperor, release your perception and see if any experts have noticed this place. Ningyu said slowly. Rolling his eyes, the Dark Monarch released his powerful perception to scan the surroundings. As he released his perception, the Dark Emperor's expression gradually became serious. In the end, he even hid his aura and said in a deep voice, "You're right. I can feel at least 2 peak true martial realm cultivators in the surroundings. There's even a half-step Yuan Dan realm cultivator." Half-step Yuan Dan realm. Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu took a deep breath. With his and the Dark Emperor's current strength, they could contend and even kill a martial artist at the peak of the true martial realm. However, if they encountered a martial artist at the half-step origin Dan realm, unless they took out the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse, only death awaited them. This was Ivory City, so it was obviously unreliable to use the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. After all, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse belonged to the corpse sect. Once it was discovered by someone, they would become the target of everyone. After calming down, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse continued, "You don't have to worry too much. I'm 100% sure that the 2 peak true martial realm and half-step Yuan Dan realm cultivators are not from the corpse sect." Not from the corpse sect? Ningyu was slightly startled and his worry lessened a bit. As long as the surrounding experts weren't from the corpse sect, they would be absolutely safe. After relaxing, Ningyu turned to look at the 2 people fighting in the hall. Not good, Zhong Hu wants to kill Yang Yu. Seeing the 2 people fighting fiercely in the hall, Ningyu's expression slightly changed. He felt that it was a little unbelievable. Next to him, the Dark Emperor also relaxed a little and said, "What? You plan to help Yang Yu and make Zhong Hu reveal his true colors? Help Yang Yu? Hearing the Dark Emperor's words, Ningyu's first thought was to shake his head and refuse. What a joke, there were several experts in the surroundings. He had no reason to make a move. But after thinking about it, Ningyu felt that what the Dark Emperor said was not unreasonable. Others might not know that Zhonghu was from the corpse sect, but once he forced Zhonghu to reveal himself, there was no need for him to make a move. The hidden experts in the surroundings would kill Zhonghu. Chapter 155. Boom. After a few moves, Yang Yu felt a sharp pain coming from his wrist. He clenched his teeth and forced Zhonghu to retreat to the other side. Yang Yu's face was ashen. The power that Zhonghu had displayed in an instant made his heart tremble. If he continued to fight, he would definitely be the one to lose. At this point, he already had the faint urge to give up. Swoosh. However, at this moment, Zhonghu turned into a blur and arrived in front of him in an instant. The fist that contained violent yuan qi ruthlessly smashed towards Yang Yu's chest. Yang Yu, since you want to play, I'll play with you. The corners of Zhonghu's mouth rose as he looked at Yang Yu as if he was looking at a dead man. Not good. The sudden change caused Yang Yu's expression to change greatly. He quickly gathered the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness to his wrist and collided with Zhonghu's fist. Yang Yu did not expect Zhonghu to suddenly attack, so he hastily blocked the attack. Bang! The moment the two fists collided, Yang Yu's expression changed slightly. The force from the palm of his hand caused him to retreat to the edge of the hall and heavily crash into the wall. When he saw that Yang Yu had been forced back, a cold glint flashed across Zhonghu's eyes as he immediately charged forward. Zhonghu is going to kill. Dark Emperor, stay here and don't move. I'll go meet this genius from the corpse sect. Seeing Zhonghu's action, the yuan qi in Ningyu's sea of consciousness churned. However, just as he was about to rush out, his mind moved and his legs abruptly stopped in place. Swoosh! In the next instant, a cold light shot out from the third floor of the Pleasant Arrival Inn and shot towards Zhonghu. Facing the sudden appearance of the cold light in Zhonghu's eyes instantly disappeared. His body somersaulted in the air and turned his head to avoid the cold light. This is the Pleasant Arrival Inn. If you want to fight to the death, you can go to the ivory stage. There's no need to do it here. As the voice faded, an old man flew down from the third floor of the Pleasant Arrival Inn and landed between Zhonghu and Yang Yu. Standing there, the old man's face was expressionless as he indifferently said, "For your father's sake, I'll let you go this time. If there's a next time, don't blame me for being impolite." Peak of the true martial realm. Feeling the powerful fluctuations of true qi emanating from the old man, Ningyu felt a chill in his heart. He secretly thought that the Yu Lai Inn was really not simple, they actually had a peak true martial realm powerhouse. Furthermore, the old man's essence was vigorous and his aura was stable, faintly showing signs of breaking through to the half-step origin core stage. "This is one of the 3 experts I told you about," the Dark Emperor said in a low voice. "From the looks of it, he is from the Pleasant Arrival Inn. If that's the case, then the other martial artists at the peak of the true martial realm and half a step into the Yuandan realm are most likely the people behind Zhonghu and Yang Yu." Nodding his head, Ningyu said, "That's right. It's just a pity that we won't be able to expose Zhonghu's true colors today. That's not a big deal. There's always a chance." The Dark Emperor shrugged and said, "I don't believe that Zhonghu won't leave Ivory City. As long as he leaves Ivory City, I have 100 ways to kill him. We'll talk about it when there's a chance," Ningyu said in a deep voice. Although Ningyu wanted to kill the people of the Yin Corpse sect, he wasn't reckless. He wouldn't rashly kill Zhonghu unless he had absolute confidence. Seeing the old man appear, Zhonghu slightly withdrew his aura and said indifferently, "I don't care, I'm just afraid that someone will not dare to go to the ivory stage." "Humph. Go ahead, who's afraid of who?" Yang Yu coldly snorted. "Good. You're indeed courageous. We'll meet at the ivory stage in 3 days." The corners of Zhonghu's mouth curled up as if his plan had succeeded. He turned around and left the Pleasant Arrival Inn. As for Yang Yu, he rubbed the area between his thumb and index finger. The pain from the previous blow had yet to completely disappear. Ivory stage, There's going to be a good show this time. Yeah, only one person can come out of the ivory stage. A life and death battle between the two peerless geniuses of Ivory City. TSK, just thinking about it makes me excited. However, from today's fight, Yang Yu is at a slight disadvantage. They both have their trump cards, and they will definitely use them when the life and death battle begins. In front of the protective stage on the second floor, Ning Yu couldn't help but frown when he heard these discussions. From today's fight, if Yang Yu had to participate in the life and death battle, he would definitely die. As the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Ning Yu felt that it was necessary to remind Yang Yu. After thinking for a while, Ning Yu walked down from the second floor and went straight to Yang Yu's side. You are. Originally, Yang Yu wanted to leave, but when he saw Ning Yu standing in front of him, he was slightly startled and asked, Brother Yang, can I have a word with you? Ning Yu opened his mouth and a voice entered Yang Yu's ears. Soul sound transmission. Yang Yu's heart trembled. He looked at Ning Yu in disbelief and said, Let's go to the room and talk. Who is that young man? I don't know. I've never seen him in Ivory City. To be able to talk to Yang Yu, I'm afraid he can be considered a genius. Almost. I guess he is also on the innate realm battle list, but I don't know his ranking. Ning Yu didn't hear the whispers of the surrounding martial artists. At this time, he and Yang Yu had arrived at a room on the third floor of Yu Lai Inn. After entering the room, Ning Yu did not beat around the bush and went straight to the point. Brother Yang, let me introduce myself first. My name is Ning Yu, and the reason why I'm looking for you is because of Zhong Hu. For Zhong Hu. Do you have a grudge against him? And your name is Ning Yu. What? You're Ning Yu? Hearing Ning Yu's words, Yang Yu frowned slightly. Then, his expression changed drastically. He stood up from the chair and said in disbelief, Are you sure your name is Ning Yu? From Tianqian City's Ning family. Why? Is there a problem? Ning Yu didn't expect Yang Yu to have such a huge reaction. Of course, there's a problem. Yang Yu was very excited. He took out a jade letter and passed it to Ning Yu. Don't you know that you're in the top 100 of the Innate Realm Battle List? Innate Realm Battle List, 90th place, Ning Yu. From Tianqian City's Ning family, powerful. Yang Yu said excitedly, I didn't expect to meet you here. It's fate. Hey, why are you making such a fuss? Isn't it just the 90th place on the Innate Realm Battle List? It's not like he's the first. Why are you so excited? Before Ning Yu could speak, the Dark Emperor twitched his mouth and said in disdain. Damn. Brother Ning Yu, your dog can talk? Yang Yu stared at the Dark Emperor with his eyes wide open. You're a dog. Your whole family is dogs. All your ancestors are dogs. The Dark Emperor was obviously unhappy as he bared his teeth at Yang Yu. Yang Yu didn't expect the Dark Emperor to have such a bad temper. Chapter 156. Yang Yu also felt that it was beneath his dignity to argue with a dog, so he ignored the Dark Emperor's words and said to Ning Yu, Zhong Hu is the young master of the Zhong family, and he is ranked 100 on the Innate Warrior list. Brother Yang, you are ranked 101st on the Innate Warrior list. Frowning slightly, Ning Yu said, logically speaking, the gap between you and Zhong Hu should not be too big, but why do I feel that Zhong Hu has not used his full strength? I don't know the details. Yang Yu said angrily, I have fought with Zhong Hu many times before, and we were evenly matched. But this time, I can clearly feel that his strength has increased by more than a little. Is there anything strange about Zhong Hu recently? Ning Yu asked. Strange? Slightly startled, Yang Yu said, nothing strange, but there is one thing that makes me feel strange. Taking a deep breath, Yang Yu continued, some time ago, Zhong Hu went to challenge the Ivory Tower, and he reached the 6th floor. In the past, when Zhong Hu was in the Ivory Tower, he could only reach the 5th floor. What kind of place is the Ivory Tower? Ning Yu asked curiously. In Ivory City, there are 2 buildings that are very famous. The first is the Ivory Tower, and the second is the Ivory Platform. Smiling, Yang Yu explained. The Ivory Tower was the symbol of Ivory City. It had a total of 10 floors, and only innate realm martial artists were qualified to challenge it. The ivory tower was a place to test one's talent, potential, and martial strength. The higher the floor, the higher the talent, and the stronger the martial artist. Rumor had it that since the ivory tower was built, no martial artist had ever entered the 10th floor, and only one had entered the 9th floor. The martial artist who entered the 9th floor had occupied the first place on the innate warrior list for 3 months, and had pressured the second-place martial artist to the point where he could hardly breathe. Only when he advanced to the true martial realm did the second-place martial artist let out a sigh of relief. As for the ivory platform, it was a circular battle platform located beside the ivory tower. Of all the cultivators who entered the ivory platform to fight to the death, only one would come out alive. The ivory platform could allow 2 martial artists to enter at a time. Unless one of them died in battle, it would not open again. Brother Yang, I advise you not to have a deathmatch with Zhonghu, Ningyu said with a frown after hearing Yang Yu's words. I've already agreed to his challenge in front of so many people. If I give up now, it won't make sense. Yang Yu said coldly, moreover, it's not like I don't have any trump cards. It's still unknown who will win and who will lose. Right, do you have a grudge against Zhonghu? Yang Yu rolled his eyes and said, Zhonghu is quite something. He even dared to offend you. Don't worry, I'll help you get rid of him in this deathmatch. To tell you the truth, even if I encounter. Inhaling a deep breath, Ningyu felt the need to warn Yang Yu. However, before he could finish his words, a voice was transmitted from outside the door. Young City Lord, you should go back quickly. The City Lord is very angry now. Oh no, how could I forget about my father? Hearing the voice, Yang Yu's face immediately became gloomy. He cupped his hands at Ningyu and said, I'll go back first. If there's time, we can. Oh right, brother Ning, why don't you go back with me? Go back with you? Ningyu was slightly stunned. He didn't expect Yang Yu to invite him. After thinking for a while, he agreed. He wouldn't act rashly without knowing whether there were experts from the Corpse Yin sect behind Zhonghu. Yang Yu's father was the city lord, so he must have a deep understanding of Zhonghu. Maybe he knew something. The city lord's mansion was located in the most central area of Ivory City. It was connected by several luxurious palaces, making it look very magnificent. Pa, don't you think you've caused enough trouble for me? You actually dared to have a deathmatch with Zhonghu. Do you still want to enter Danwu College? After returning home, Yang Yu's father first reprimanded Yang Yu. Then he said coldly, I'll talk to the head of the Zhong family about this. He'll help you cancel that deathmatch. Father, you can't blame me for this. Yang Yu said, if you don't believe me, you can ask Ningyu. He was also there at that time. It was Zhonghu who wanted to kill me. That's why I agreed to the deathmatch with him. Ningyu, ranked 90th on the innate realm battle list. Yang Kuan looked at Ningyu in surprise. Yang Yu didn't mention it, so he ignored Ningyu. After all, Ningyu's aura was only at the early innate realm. If he didn't observe carefully, he wouldn't notice anything. City Lord Yang, the ranking on the innate realm battle list is just a gimmick. Ningyu said calmly. Young City Lord was forced to agree to Zhonghu's request. You don't have to scold him. Sigh, of course I know that. It's just that the Zhong family has been expanding rapidly recently. It seems like they're going to become the overlord of Ivory City. Yang Kuan sighed and said, if it wasn't for the pressure, the Zhong family would have attacked the City Lord mansion. Looking at Ningyu, Yang Kuan wanted to say something but stopped on second thought. City Lord Yang, what's the matter? Ningyu asked when he saw Yang Kuan's expression. In that case, I'll tell you the truth. The Zhong family in Ivory City is a branch of the Zhong family in the capital, Yang Kuan said. What? Ningyu didn't expect them to have such a relationship. He was shocked. After all, he had killed the second son of the Zhong family, Zhong Wenyong, in the Elixir Dragon Valley. He had already offended the Zhong family. Now that he knew that the Zhong family in Ivory City was a branch of the Zhong family in the capital, the consequences would be dire if they found out. The Zhong family has given the order to kill you. Your head is worth 1 million upper-grade primordial crystals. Staring at Ningyu, Yang Kuan released his aura to suppress Ningyu. If I kill you and hand you over to the Zhong family, I'll get 1 million upper-grade primordial crystals. Father, what are you doing? Seeing Yang Kuan's reaction, Yang Yu was shocked. Ningyu is my good friend. You can't kill him and hand him over to the Zhong family, he said hurriedly. The Yuan Qi in his sea of consciousness was released to resist Yang Kuan's aura. Ningyu said calmly, City Lord Yang, if I want to leave, you won't be able to stop me. Ha ha ha. No wonder you're ranked 90th on the innate realm battle list. Laughing, Yang Kuan retracted his aura and said, if I'm not wrong, you should be able to enter the top 50 on the innate realm battle list. Yang Kuan was shocked by Ningyu's performance. He was a martial artist at the peak of the middle stage of the true martial realm. If Ningyu could resist his aura so easily, it meant that he was not weak. Chapter 157. Since Ningyu had changed the topic, Yang Kuan didn't ask anymore. Among the younger generation of the Zhong clan, the strongest is neither Zhong Wenyong nor Zhong Wenyong's elder brother. It's Zhong Tianwen, who is ranked 7th. Zhong Tianwen. Ningyu was unfamiliar with this name. It's understandable that you don't know Zhong Tianwen. Yang Kuan explained, when Zhong Tianwen was 10 years old, the Zhong family spread the news that he had died prematurely. At that time, this matter caused a stir in the capital. Actually, Zhong Tianwen didn't die. He secretly went to the Lanqing kingdom to cultivate for a few years. When he was 17, he returned to the Da Xia kingdom and entered the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. Sacred Institute, Sacred Institute. Ningyu frowned slightly. He did not understand much about the Danwu Academy's sacred institution. It could be said that he knew nothing at all. Brother Ning, the Sacred Institute of Danwu College has a very strict recruitment process. You must be in the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking to be qualified. Yang Yu said, this is also the reason why I challenged Zhong Hu. There are only 20 days left until the next recruitment of the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. If I can't enter the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking within 20 days, I won't even be qualified to participate in the recruitment of the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. Nonsense. Hearing Yang Yu's words, Yang Kuan scolded, even if you want to enter the top 100 of the innate realm combat ranking, you can't challenge Zhong Hu. Anyway, I've already decided to have a life-and-death duel with him. In 3 days, either he or I will die, Yang Yu muttered. What are you muttering about? Go back to your room and don't step out of it without my permission. Yang Kuan was a little angry. At this moment, Ningyu said, Governor Yang, I'm here to tell you something. What is it? Yang Kuan asked. I don't know if you've seen anyone from the corpse sect recently. Ningyu stared into Yang Kuan's eyes, hoping to see some clues. Corpse Yin sect. Hearing Ningyu's words, Yang Kuan's expression changed and his eyes revealed a shocked expression. Did you see the people from the corpse sect? Nodding his head, Ningyu voiced out his suspicions. I suspect that Zhong Hu is from the corpse sect. Zhong Hu? Slightly startled, Yang Kuan immediately shook his head and said, he is not a member of the corpse sect. I saw him a few days ago. Although his strength has increased rapidly, he is definitely not a member of the corpse sect. Ningyu, it can't be that you have a grudge with the Zhong family, so you want to slander Zhong Hu? Yang Kuan frowned. Hehe, City Lord Yang, you must be joking. My final destination is the capital, and I'm just passing by Ivory City to rest here for a day. Ningyu smiled and said, I'm only suspecting Zhong Hu's identity, but I'm not sure. Since Yang Kuan did not believe him, Ningyu did not want to say anything more. After all, he was not very familiar with Yang Kuan, and reminding him was already very kind of him. Moreover, he had already stayed in Ivory City for a day, and it was time to leave. Ningyu, why don't you stay here for another day and go to the Ivory Tower? Seeing that Ningyu was about to leave, Yang Kuan hurriedly said. He also knew that Ningyu had good intentions and did not want to sow discord between the Zhong family and the City Lord's mansion. After all, the relationship between the Zhong family and the City Lord's mansion was already very tense, and there was no need for Ningyu to sow discord. Ningyu, in fact, there is a shortcut to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College. As long as you can reach the 8th floor of the Ivory Tower, you can enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College unconditionally. Yang Kuan continued. Hearing this, Ningyu slightly stopped and asked, "Is the Ivory Tower a place where anyone can enter?" "Only martial artists in the top 5,000 of the innate realm battle list are qualified to enter. As for you, that's enough." Yang Kuan said, "Tomorrow is the opening time of the Ivory Tower. If you are interested, you can go and have a try." After thinking for a while, Ningyu said, "All right, I will stay and have a try in the Ivory Tower. Then you can stay in the City Lord's mansion today and go with Yu to the Ivory Tower tomorrow." Yang Kuan waved his hand and immediately an old man entered the hall. "Old Oyu, take Ningyu to rest and arrange the best room for him." Seeing the so-called old Oyu, Ningyu's face slightly froze and he was somewhat shocked. This was because he sensed a terrifying aura coming from Elder Oyu. This terrifying aura meant that old Oyu's strength was at least at the peak of the true martial realm. Yang Kuan is trying to show me his strength. Ningyu felt a little baffled. After all, he and Yang Kuan had no grievances, so there was no need for Yang Kuan to treat him like this. If it was because he withstood the pressure of Yang Kuan's aura, then Yang Kuan was too stingy. Without thinking too much, Ningyu left with old Oyu. After Ningyu left, Yang Kuan's face became completely gloomy. "You how confident are you in defeating Zhonghu? If I use my trump card, I have a 30% chance of defeating him." Yang Yu said, 30% chance, it seems that Zhonghu is indeed very strong. After pondering for a moment, Yang Kuan said, "How about this, you go to the Ivory Tower tomorrow. As for whether Zhonghu is from the corpse sect or not, I will find out within 3 days. If he is not from the corpse sect, I will find a way to cancel the life and death battle between you two. But if he is from the corpse sect, then I will make him die a horrible death." Clenching his fists, Yang Kuan's face was filled with ruthlessness. The reason why he hated the corpse sect so much was because his wife died in the hands of the corpse sect 10 years ago. Swish! In a dense forest to the west of Ivory City, a white figure quickly passed by. A moment later, the white figure came to a stop. He took out a crystal ball and looked at it. He frowned and murmured, "Why did the aura dissipate here? Could it be that he knows a secret method to disperse the aura he emits? Since the aura dissipated here, then I will use this place as the center and search all the nearby cities." With a cold expression, the white figure rushed out and flew into the distance. Woof! At the same time, the Dark Emperor ran into the room where Ningyu was at the City Lord's mansion of Ivory City. After entering the room, the Dark Emperor sat on the bed, stuck out his tongue, and gasped for breath. Seeing that the Dark Emperor had returned, Ningyu asked, "Dark Emperor, how did it go?" "Don't worry about me," the Dark Emperor said, "but don't let me do this kind of thing in the future. It's too tiring. You are the only one who can do this." Ningyu spread out his hands and said helplessly, "Although I can disperse the aura I left on my body, I can't help you disperse the faint aura of the heaven-devouring hound that I left on your body." The Dark Emperor rolled his eyes and said, "The aura of the heaven-devouring hound that I left behind is very weak. Unless it is a cultivator with a powerful soul perception, it will definitely not be discovered." Chapter 158. Aura Tracking Treasure. The Dark Emperor was taken aback. He had never heard of an aura tracking treasure. "That's right." Nodding, Ningyu said, "Aura tracking treasures are amazing. As long as they lock onto your aura, you will be found even if you run to the ends of the earth. There's only one way to break the aura tracking treasure, and that is to disperse your aura. You can't disperse it within a short distance. You have to disperse it for at least a day. Only then will the treasure not be able to find you. So what if they find me? With our strength, there's nothing to be afraid of." The Dark Emperor said disapprovingly, "By the way, have you refined the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse?" "Not yet," Ningyu said. When they killed Master Leng, Ningyu and the others had taken control of a half-step primal core realm Dark Golden Spirit Corpse from the cave and placed it in the storage ring. Originally, Ningyu planned to refine it at the Pleasant Arrival Inn. Who would have thought he would encounter the duel between Yang Yu and Zhong Hu, causing the matter to be delayed? Dark Emperor, guard me. Don't let anyone enter the room without my permission. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said in a deep voice, since the Zhong clan of Ivory City is a branch of the Zhong clan of the capital, then the situation we are facing is very serious. We must refine the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse to increase our strength. Alright, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse has the strength of a half-step primal core realm. As long as you can refine it, even if we encounter a half-step primal core realm cultivator, we have nothing to fear. As he spoke, the Dark Emperor left the room in a flash and stood guard in front of the door. However, the Dark Emperor did not have a nervous expression. Instead, he laid on the ground lazily with his eyes closed, sleeping soundly. Inside the room, Ningyu shook his wrist and took out the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse from the storage ring. Luckily, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's body did not grow bigger. Looking at the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse that was taller than a person, Ningyu let out a sigh of relief. Back in the stone room, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's body was extremely large, as tall as several people. However, back then, the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse was full of energy. Now, it was just an empty shell with no energy at all. Shoo. Without thinking too much, Ningyu's late-stage rank 4 soul force swept out and suddenly entered the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mind. Kai. As soon as his soul force entered the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse's mind, Ningyu's expression changed because his soul force was obstructed, and it was extremely obstructed. Damn it. It's actually a wisp of soul force left behind by Master Leng, and it even has some consciousness. Cursing inwardly, Ningyu threw himself into the battle of soul force with Master Leng. The Dark Golden Spirit Corpse had already been refined by Master Leng, and he had already carved a soul imprint in its mind. As long as Ningyu could not erase Master Leng's soul imprint, he would not be able to control the Dark Golden Spirit Corp. Kid. How dare you snatch my Dark Golden Spirit Corpse? You're courting death. Suddenly, a voice resounded out in Ningyu's mind, and it caused his expression to change slightly. But that was all. Because he noticed that this wisp of Master Leng's soul energy couldn't be considered to be strong, and it was at the peak of grade 4 at most. Moreover, this wisp of Master Leng's soul power was fighting alone without any backup. Hee, you're like a grasshopper after autumn. You won't be able to jump around for long. With a faint smile, the soul force in Ningyu's body poured out and suppressed Master Leng's soul force together with the wind, thunder, and fire. Ah! Master Leng let out a blood-curdling scream in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mind. He did not expect Ningyu's soul force to be so powerful that it had actually reached the late-stage grade 4. Moreover, the wind, thunder, and fire were like a ferocious tiger under Ningyu's control, tearing at his soul force crazily. Master Leng, don't struggle anymore. Just accept your death. With a sneer, the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness swept out and entered the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mind. Swoosh, swoosh, whoosh. Advanced Grade 4 Soul Force was comparable to the powerful vitality of a mid-stage true martial realm martial artist. Wind, thunder, and fire. Under the three powerful attacks, Master Leng did not last long before his soul force was completely shattered. Soul Imprint, Engrave. After dispersing Master Leng's soul force, Ningyu instantly separated a wisp of soul force and engraved an imprint in the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mind. Buzz. As soon as Ningyu engraved his soul force, his heart skipped a beat. This was because he realized that the vitality in his sea of consciousness was gushing out crazily and entering the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's body. Early Stage True Martial Realm. Early Stage True Martial Realm. Middle Stage True Martial Realm. Peak Stage True Martial Realm. As the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness weakened, the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's aura became stronger and stronger. In the end, it even reached the peak of Middle Stage True Martial Realm. However, although the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's aura was strengthened, the vitality in Ningyu's sea of consciousness was completely depleted. There was nothing left. Holy sh**, isn't the speed of absorbing vitality a little too terrifying? Slightly stunned, Ningyu immediately took out a storage bag from his storage ring. It contained almost all of his wealth, 500,000 high-grade origin crystals, Back then, in order to fight against the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse, Ningyu gave all of his high-grade origin crystals to the Dark Emperor. The Dark Emperor was also a big mouth. In just over 10 minutes, he had devoured more than 100,000 high-grade origin crystals. Therefore, Ningyu was only left with 500,000 high-grade origin crystals. Since the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse needed vitality, Ningyu was not stingy. After leaving 100 high-grade origin crystals, he threw the rest into the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth along with the storage bag. Crack, crack. After the storage bag entered the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth, pieces of high-grade origin crystals gushed out as if they were subjected to an extremely strong suction force. The Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's mouth also moved up and down, and crunching sounds rang out incessantly. It chewed the high-grade origin crystals piece by piece, and powerful vitality flowed throughout its body. 500,000 high-grade origin crystals is enough to increase the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse's strength to half-step origin core stage. I wonder how long it can last. After thinking for a while, Ningyu moved his soul force and controlled the Dark Golden Spirit Corpse into his storage ring. Subsequently, Ningyu's soul force gushed out and he began to practice the heaven-splitting 8th Desolation Palm. The heaven-splitting 8th Desolation Palm was also a soul attack technique. Ningyu had already successfully practiced the first form. The second form, Desolate Earth Palm, as his soul force had reached the late-stage 4th grade, Ningyu did not spend too much time to successfully practice the Desolate Earth Palm. Subsequently, he took out the remaining 100 high-grade origin crystals in his storage ring, circulated the spirit transformation technique, and began to slowly absorb them. The night passed uneventfully. On the second day, when the first ray of sunlight shone on the ground, Yang Yu arrived in front of the room that Ningyu lived in. However, the Dark Emperor blocked his path, raised his head, and said, "Little kid, do you want to see Ningyu?" Yes." Yang Yu was somewhat puzzled, and said, "Where did you go yesterday? Why didn't I see you? Do I need to report to you when I do things?" The Dark Emperor had a high and mighty appearance as he said disdainfully, "Creak." Chapter 159. Brother Ning, it's good that you're out. Let's go and barge into the ivory tower, Yang Yu said with joy when he saw Ningyu come out. Let's go. I want to see the so-called ivory tower, Ningyu said. Hey, don't forget about me. The Dark Emperor was unhappy and said angrily, "Do I have the right to barge into that ivory tower?" You. Yang Yu was stunned when he heard that. He then smiled, "Stop joking. How can a dog barge into the ivory tower?" Whoosh. Hearing Yang Yu's words, the Dark Emperor immediately attacked and clawed at Yang Yu's chest. Yang Yu did not take the Dark Emperor's attack seriously. He clenched his right fist and casually threw a punch. Kai. However, as soon as the punch came into contact with the Dark Emperor's claw, it shattered. Then, the Dark Emperor's claw arrived before his chest like a bolt of lightning. Oh no. The sudden change caused Yang Yu's expression to change slightly. He never thought that the Dark Emperor would actually be so powerful, to be able to easily disperse the fist light that he had struck out. In the blink of an eye, the yuan in Yang Yu's sea of consciousness surged and gathered before his chest. However, just as the Dark Emperor's claw was about to collide with Yang Yu's yuan, a growl was heard. "Emperor of the Dark World, behave yourself." Ningyu took a step forward and stood between the Dark Emperor and Yang Yu. "Can't you just talk things out? Why do you have to fight?" Whoosh. The Emperor of the Dark World seemed to have expected that Ningyu would interfere. The moment Ningyu stepped out, he suddenly stopped and said indifferently, "I don't care, I just want to teach some people a lesson. Don't let them look down on dogs." "No, Fut, it should be people looking down on the Emperor." "All right, let's go. Don't waste time here. Let's hurry to the ivory tower." Ningyu did not want to waste time here, so he waved his hand and said, Yes, let's go to the ivory tower." Yang Yu didn't want to stay here any longer. He quickly walked away. What kind of freak combination is this? Through the short exchange just now, Yang Yu had already determined the strength of Ningyu and the Dark Emperor. Ningyu was indeed ranked 90th on the innate realm battle board. The speed that he displayed in that instant was far beyond his reach. The fact that the Dark Emperor was able to stop his body in an instant meant that he was not weak either. Behind him, the Dark Emperor asked, Ningyu, have you refined the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse? The Dark Gold Spirit Corpse has been refined, but the high-grade origin crystals on me have also been refined. Ningyu was a little helpless as he told the Dark Emperor about what happened when he refined the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse. It's fine. The more high-grade origin crystals the Dark Gold Spirit Corpse absorbs, the stronger its strength will be. The Dark Emperor consoled, if you run out of high-grade essence crystals, you can earn them. If you lose your life, you will have nothing left. I didn't expect you to be so open-minded, Ningyu said as he quickened his pace to catch up with Yang Yu. As for the Dark Emperor, he rolled his eyes and left midway. The Ivory City was bustling today as it was the opening day of the Ivory Tower. All the martial artists who were ranked in the top 5,000 on the Innate Realm Battle Board were qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. If one was lucky enough to make it to the 8th level, he would be able to enter the Sacred Institute of Danwu College unconditionally. The Ivory Tower was located in a huge square in the middle of the Ivory City. It was 10 stories tall and looked majestic. Beside the Ivory Tower, there was a huge round fighting platform. It was the Ivory Stage. At this time, many warriors had already gathered in the square. Among these martial artists, some were going to enter the Ivory Tower, while some were just here to watch the show. After all, not everyone was qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. Cough cough. On the high platform, Yang Kuan coughed and stood up from his chair. He said loudly, "Let me get straight to the point. Today is the opening day of the Ivory Tower. Only the top 5,000 martial artists on the Innate Realm Battle Board are qualified to enter the Ivory Tower. Don't try to make up the numbers. Those who are not ranked in the top 5,000 on the Innate Realm Battle Board will be teleported out even if you enter the Ivory Tower. I hereby announce that the Ivory Tower is officially open." Buzz buzz. As Yang Kuan finished his sentence, the heavy stone door on the first floor of the Ivory Tower opened slowly. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Then, a few figures flashed past and entered the Ivory Tower. "Brother Ning, let's go in too." Yang Yu and Ning Yu stood beside the Ivory Tower. When most of the people had entered, they moved to enter the Ivory Tower. "Why, Yang Yu, are you going to enter the Ivory Tower today?" However, before they moved, a voice rang in their ears. Then, Zhong Hu walked over with a smile. Zhong Hu said to Yang Yu, "Last time, you stopped at the 5th floor. This time, you should be able to enter the 6th floor, right? Among the martial artists who entered the Ivory Tower this time, only you barely made it. The others are just a bunch of mobs. They are not worthy of my attention." "You." Yang Yu clenched his fists and said angrily, "Let's wait and see." Shrugging his shoulders, Zhong Hu's figure flashed into the Ivory Tower. However, when he left, a voice rang in Ning Yu's ears. "You are very strong, much stronger than that useless Yang Yu. I am looking forward to fighting with you in the Ivory Tower." The words that rang in his ears made Ning Yu frown. He was a little shocked. Soul transmission. Zhong Hu was indeed a genius of the Corpse Yin sect. He even knew how to use soul transmission. From this, it could be seen that Zhong Hu was not only skilled in martial arts, but he was also highly skilled in alchemy. Swoosh. At this moment, Yang Yu's figure flashed and he entered the Ivory Tower. Seeing Yang Yu enter, Ning Yu shook his head and stopped thinking about it. His figure flashed and he flew into the Ivory Tower. On the high platform, a middle-aged man smiled and said to Yang Kuan, "Hey, City Lord Yang, do you think anyone will be able to reach the 7th floor this time? Patriarch Zhongzi, your son reached the 6th floor last time. I'm afraid he will be heading for the 7th floor this time, right?" Yang Kuan said, "The rest of the martial artists can only reach the 6th floor at best. City Lord Yang, my son does not have the ability. I will be satisfied if he can reach the 6th floor." A smile hung on the corner of Zhong Zedi's mouth. He immediately changed the topic and faintly said, "What do you think about the life and death fight between the junior city governor and my son?" Yang Kuan narrowed his eyes and said in a deep voice, "That is just a joke made by a child. In my opinion, there is no need to take it seriously. The young city lord and my son are not young anymore. We should respect their decision and not interfere. Zhong Ziyi raised the corner of his mouth and said, "This matter has already spread in Ivory City. When the time comes, why not let them enter the ivory tower and have a duel? There is no need for a life and death battle." After saying that, Zhong Ziyi closed his eyes and chose to rest. As for Yang Kuan, his expression became very ugly. He knew that once they entered the ivory tower, it would be a life and death battle. Chapter 160. Ning Yu had no idea what was happening in the square. The moment he stepped into the ivory tower, his vision dimmed. Then, the space around him wriggled and countless white light spots appeared. Within these white light spots, Ning Yu could feel the ripples of energy. So this is the first level of the ivory tower. I wonder how I can pass through it. Looking at the increasing number of white light spots, Ning Yu frowned in confusion. Whoosh. However, not long after Ning Yu spoke, the space around him wriggled again and an illusory figure appeared. The first level of the ivory tower, collect 1,000 white light spots within 2 hours. After the illusory figure appeared, it tossed a black token to Ning Yu and said, "Put the white light spots you collect on the token. It will absorb them." Swoosh. Then, the illusory figure became even more illusory and disappeared. Looking at the black token in his hand, Ning Yu did not hesitate. His figure flashed as he reached out to grab the white dot. Poochie. However, just as Ning Yu grabbed the speck of white light in his hand, it turned into nothingness with a puff before he could place it on the token. What's going on? The sudden change was obviously out of Ning Yu's expectation, and he was stunned for a moment. Since he could not grab the white light spots with his hands, could it be that he had to use his soul power? Thinking of this, Ning Yu released a wisp of soul power from his body and wrapped it around his wrist. Then, he grabbed the white light spots. Swoosh. This time, the white light spots did not disappear under the suppression of the soul power. Seizing the opportunity, Ning Yu placed the white light spots on the token. Instantly, the white light spots were absorbed into the token. Luckily, at this speed, I will be able to collect 1,000 white light spots in no time. Since he had found a way to collect the white light spots, Ning Yu did not waste any more time. He split his soul power into several wisps and carefully collected the white light spots. Buzz. Half an hour later, the black token suddenly vibrated and let out a buzzing sound. Shoo. Then, the black token broke free from Ning Yu's control and flew into the air. Right at this moment, the surroundings suddenly became bright, and everything changed greatly. Ning Yu discovered that in front of him was a bronze stone door. There was a groove on the stone door. Could it be that the key to open the stone door is the black token? Ning Yu muttered as he looked at the shape of the groove. Creak. In the next moment, the black token fell into the groove, and the heavy stone door slowly opened. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu strode in. When Ning Yu entered the second floor of the ivory tower, everyone in the square let out a cry of surprise because the third floor of the ivory tower was already lit up. The third level was lit up, which meant that someone had reached the third level of the ivory tower. Only an hour had passed since he entered the ivory tower. It was truly shocking that he could make it to the third floor. In my opinion, the one who made it to the third floor must be Zhong Hu. Previously, he made it to the sixth floor. The last time the ivory tower opened, Zhong Hu was the fastest to make it to the third floor, but he spent an hour. I didn't expect him to shorten the time by half this time. Don't forget, Yang Yu is not weak either. Maybe the martial artist who made it to the third floor is Yang Yu. Anyway, it's the two of them. There's no one else. The discussions in the square made Zhong Ziyi, who was on the high platform, happy. He could conclude that the martial artist who made it to the third floor was Zhong Hu, and not Yang Yu. No one knew Zhong Hu's strength better than him. If Zhong Hu gave it his all, there was an 80% chance that he could make it to the top 50 of the innate realm combat list. In the deathmatch 3 days later, if there were no accidents, Yang Yu would definitely die. Thinking of this, Zhong Ziyi smiled and said to Yang Kuan, "Governor Yang, I think the martial artist who made it to the third floor should be the young city governor, right?" "Master Zhong, you must be joking. Your son is strong, and he will definitely be the first to make it to the third floor, Yang Kuan said with an ugly expression. Wow! At this moment, the third floor of the ivory tower lit up again. This sudden change caused Zhong Ziyi to be slightly stunned. After which, he said, another person has reached the third level. This person should be my son. Although Zhong Ziyi said so, Yang Kuan did not think so. He was sure that the first martial artist to make it to the third floor was Zhong Hu. As for who the second one was, he was a little surprised. But soon, his eyes narrowed and he had a guess in his heart. On the third floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu frowned as he looked at the white shadow that blocked his way. From the white virtual figure's body, he did not discover the slightest trace of origin energy undulations, which was to say that the martial prowess of the white virtual figure in front of him was not considered strong. First of all, congratulations on entering the third floor of the ivory tower in such a short time. The white shadow said, this round should be easy for you. There's no need for an assessment. You can directly enter the fourth floor. Why? Ningyu did not understand why he could enter the fourth floor without an assessment. As you can see, I don't sense any yuan power from my body. In other words, this round tests my soul power. With a smile, the white shadow said, my soul power is at the peak of the third grade, while your soul power is at the advanced stage of the fourth grade. It's a few times stronger than mine. If I compete with you in soul power, I will definitely lose. It's meaningless. If your soul power is only at the early stage of the fourth grade, I might compete with you. But now, there's no need. As soon as he finished speaking, the white shadow disappeared. Behind him, a flight of stairs appeared, leading to the fourth floor. Ningyu felt helpless. Since there was no need to challenge this round, he did not ask any more questions. Instead, he strode forward and headed to the fourth floor. At the same time, in another space, Zhong Hu stabbed with his sword and destroyed the white shadow in front of him. Keeping his flying sword, Zhong Hu said coldly, last time, I used 3 strikes to destroy the white shadow. This time, I destroyed it with 1 strike. Not bad at all. Swoosh. After destroying the white shadow, Zhong Hu did not enter the fourth floor immediately. Instead, he sat down with his legs crossed. After recovering his mental state to its peak, he stood up and walked to the fourth floor. In the space next to him, Yang Yu took out a jade bracelet. He slowly injected his soul power into the jade bracelet. Then, the jade bracelet suddenly exploded with a strong tearing force, directly destroying the white shadow. Luckily, Father gave me this jade bracelet. Otherwise, with my early stage of the third grade, I would have to go through as much trouble as last time. Keeping the jade bracelet, Yang Yu was like Zhong Hu. He was not in a hurry to enter the fourth floor. He took out a few elixirs and swallowed them. Then, he slowly activated his skill and began to refine them. Chapter 161. F***CK. Standing at the entrance to the fourth floor of the ivory tower, Ningyu could not help but curse. Moreover, he hurriedly released the yuan qi in his sea of consciousness, forming a yuan qi barrier around his body. This was because, on the fourth floor, he saw a shocking scene. The entire fourth floor was occupied by a type of demonic beast, the cloud leopard. The cloud leopard was a fourth-order demonic beast. Its strength was comparable to a martial artist at the peak of the initial stage of the true martial realm. It had a violent temperament, and they were very territorial. As long as an outsider intruded into their territory, there would definitely be a bloodbath. 50 cloud leopards. Isn't this a little too difficult? Ningyu's expression turned ugly as he thought to himself that this was a scam. Even a martial artist ranked in the top 50 on the innate realm battle list would most likely be defeated by 50 cloud leopards at the same time. Roar. Without waiting for Ningyu to think further, one of the cloud leopards stomped on the ground and instantly appeared in front of him. With a furious roar, the cloud leopard raised its tail and ruthlessly swept it at Zhu Donghuang. Damn it! Cursing, Ningyu gathered essence on his wrist and punched out. Bang! The cloud leopard did not expect a Xiantian advanced stage martial artist to dare to fight it head-on. It was stunned for a moment. However, in the instant that it was stunned, Ningyu's fist had already arrived in front of it, and it landed right on its body. A dull thud sounded out. The cloud leopard was knocked back several feet and fell heavily on the ground. Isn't this defense a little too terrifying? Looking at the cloud leopard crawling up from the ground once again, Ningyu was speechless. Although he did not use 100% of his strength in that punch, he had still used 50% of it. Originally, he thought that even though a punch with 50% of his strength would not be able to kill the cloud leopard, it would be enough to severely injure it. Now, it seemed like he had thought too much. 50 cloud leopards. Let's see what my limit is today. With a cold expression, Ningyu took out the soul-breaking sword. Vital chi surged out from one of the cyclones and poured into the breaking soul sword. Then, Ningyu took a step forward and slashed out with the breaking soul sword. Hualala! Several sharp sword lights slashed out, interweaving into a net of sword lights in front of Ningyu, and then exploding out in unison. Roar! Faced with such a sharp sword light, the cloud leopard did not retreat. Instead, it let out a loud roar and charged at Ningyu. Kai kai kai! The instant the sword light came into contact with the cloud-soaring leopards, more than 10 of them were forced back. As for the other 30 or so cloud-soaring leopards, they furiously charged towards Ningyu. Heaven Fiend Sword Wave. Ningyu narrowed his eyes and swung the Absolute Soul Sword again. Immediately, a shocking sword wave appeared and blasted at the cloud leopard at the front. Fart! The cloud-soaring leopard was indeed a demonic beast with an astonishing defense. The Heaven Fiend Sword Wave only left a bloody mark on its body. It was not seriously injured. Teish Kenpo. With a cold snort, Ningyu stabbed out with his sword. He used the third form of the 9 Pure One sword technique, the powerful Teish Kenpo. Roar! As soon as the Teish Kenpo slashed out, the cloud-soaring leopards around him roared angrily. It was as if they had encountered an extremely dangerous situation and they actually retreated. Although the cloud-soaring leopards loved to fight, they were not stupid. In the face of absolute power, they would not throw their lives away. They are retreating. This turn of events was not what Ningyu had expected. However, in his opinion, he had to kill all the cloud-soaring leopards here in order to pass the 4th level. Hence, even though the cloud-soaring leopards were retreating, Ningyu continued to control the soul-severing sword and slashed out several Teish Kenpo. In an instant, 2 of the 6 energy whirlpools in his consciousness had been completely depleted. You have already passed the 4th level. Why do you still want to kill us? Seeing that the Teish Kenpo was about to hit its body, one of the cloud-soaring leopards at the front shouted, "As long as you don't kill us, we will immediately open the entrance to the 5th level and let you enter it successfully." I have passed the 4th level? Ningyu was slightly stunned. Then, he asked doubtfully, "Don't I have to kill you to pass the 4th level?" "As long as you can withstand our attacks for 3 minutes, you will pass the 4th level," the cloud-soaring leopard leader muttered. What a freak. In the past, all the cultivators who entered the 4th level would hide in their turtle shells and let us attack them for 3 minutes. But you, on the other hand, immediately attacked us. Hearing the cloud-soaring leopard leader's muttering, Ningyu rolled his eyes. He had the urge to curse. So it turned out that passing the 4th level was so easy. He had thought that he would have to kill all the cloud-soaring leopards. "Tell me what the 5th level is," Ningyu asked as he rolled his eyes. "I can't tell you. You just have to try it once and you will know next time." The cloud-soaring leopard leader clearly didn't want to say much. Instead, it roared at the cloud-soaring leopards behind it. Soon after, the cloud-soaring leopards unwillingly opened the stone door behind them. Swoosh! Ningyu didn't intend to enter the 5th level. Instead, he flicked his wrist and the soul-severing sword appeared in his hand. "Now, you have 2 choices. 1. Tell me what the later levels are. 2. Die." As the word die was uttered, Ningyu waved the soul-severing sword. Instantly, a shocking sword light appeared in the air, as if it was about to attack. All right. I will tell you what the 5th level is." Seeing the illusory sword light, the cloud-soaring leopard leader hurriedly said, "The 5th level is very simple. It tests the density of one's origin energy. As long as your origin energy can light up to 5 stars, you can enter the 6th level. With your strength, passing the 5th level will be a piece of cake. At this point, the leader of the Cloudsoar leopards paused for a moment, before continuing. However, the 6th floor is not that easy to pass. This is because the 6th floor tests a person's talent. Unless your talent reaches the requirements of the test, it is impossible to enter the 7th floor. The 7th level tests one's strongest battle prowess. As for the rest, I don't know. Frowning slightly, Ningyu waved his hand and said, "You guys pass. I will now enter the 5th level." As he spoke, Ningyu took a step forward and entered the 5th level of the ivory tower. Seeing that Ningyu had left, the cloud-soaring leopards felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted from their shoulders. Their taut nerves relaxed a little as they thought to themselves that they had finally sent off this fiend. Creak. Not long after Ningyu left, the stone door to the 4th level opened once again. Following this, Zhonghu walked in. Seeing Zhonghu, the cloud-soaring leopards were initially stunned. However, when they felt the ripples of origin energy from Zhonghu's body, they all roared angrily and charged at Zhonghu. What's going on? The sudden change caused Zhonghu to be slightly dumbfounded. The last time he entered the 4th level, there was only one cloud-soaring leopard that had attacked him. Why were there 50 cloud-soaring leopards attacking him at the same time now? However, after a short moment of confusion, Zhonghu's wrist shook and a flying sword appeared. He slashed out a few sword lights that landed on the cloud-soaring leopards at the very front. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.